sources tell us this started as a pursuit in Grosse Pointe Shores. Though it is unclear what sparked it, we're told the suspect, who at some point hit a woman in a car, ran off after the crash and was found hiding behind a garage on Dornius Street. Sources tell Fox 2 he claims to have run off for fun and had been laughing the whole time. That suspect's vehicle has been impounded, and the car he hit is still drivable. We'll continue to follow this story and work to get more updates as we get them. The father of the Oxford school shooter is now awaiting a decision whether he'll get a new trial. A jury convicted James Crumbley and his wife Jennifer of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in separate trials. Both were sentenced up to 15 years in prison, and now James is asking for a new trial. His attorney claims the Oakland County Prosecutor withheld information about immunity agreements made with Oxford school officials who testified during that trial. The prosecutor says James Crumbley has no legal grounds for a new trial. Both sides gave their arguments during a motion hearing in court today. The judge hopes to have a decision within a month. As for the Oxford shooter himself, he is serving a life sentence for the 2021 attack that left 4 students dead and 7 people hurt. A crash involving Detroit police on the city's west side overnight. This is at Greenfield and the Lodge Freeway. You can see the police cruiser and U-Haul van each suffered damage. So far, police have not said who is at fault. We are working to find out if anyone was seriously hurt. A suspect has been charged for the murder of a DoorDash driver in Ferndale. Mamadou Diallo, killed last month, just one day before his 27th birthday. He came to the U.S. from Senegal 2 years ago, got a job delivering food, and started sending money home to his family. Back on March 9th, police say he nearly got into an accident with another driver who was driving recklessly near Woodward and 9 Mile. Someone from the other vehicle then fired 6 shots, killing Diallo.
We are upset. We are very upset. And but there is nothing we can do. So right now we are happy that the investigation is moving and that we are hoping that justice is going to be served. But we can't replace who he is.
39-year-old Terrell Sims of Oak Park is charged with second-degree murder. He was given no bond. 2 other suspects were arrested after the shooting, but have since been released. A Detroit woman is accused of a horrifying act of stabbing her dog and posting the disturbing footage online. Jordan Love is facing multiple charges, including animal torture. Investigators say back on February 7th, Love shared a video of the injured dog, claiming it went after her cat. Police say she then fled the state. Detroit Animal Control forced their way into her home on Manning Street and found the dog suffering from several stab wounds. 3 dogs and 4 cats were recovered from her home, all malnourished. Police tracked Love to South Carolina last month, where she was arrested. She's now being held on $50,000 bond. The dog is recovering in foster care. A cat, who also had a suspected knife wound, had a leg amputated and has since been adopted. My goodness. Crooks in Oakland County targeting medical stations. They're after Narcan. Narcan used to reverse drug overdoses. Thieves stealing it, but why? Investigators think they might be reselling it, but it has no value on the black market. Narcan does not get users high.
If somebody doesn't have direct access to that when they need it, people's lives are at stake. Perhaps somebody needed it for another organization outside of the county or a different area. And if that's the case, we want them to know we got you. Come call us, send me an email, whatever you need. We'll give you as much Narcan as you need for your community.
The Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities stocks these locations. The thefts add up to losses in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. A suspected car thief making a mad dash from police in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The 21-year-old Westland man suspected in the thefts of 8 Corvettes from the back lot of a GM plant. The takedown caught on camera. Here's how the foot chase ended.
Stop running! Stop running! I'ma tase you. I'ma tase you. You're stepping up, Got one fight. Thank you. All right. Turn around. All right. Flip over, dude. Flip over. Picked the wrong day to run today.
Man, Deontay Walker accused of trying to bring 3 of the brand new Corvettes back to Michigan. A transport driver reportedly tipped off police because he felt uncomfortable. Walker pled not guilty to multiple charges. Well, April is Autism Awareness Month, and today hundreds of kids are hitting the streets to raise awareness. Fox 2's Tanisha Cordell joins us live from Melvindale. Tanisha, good afternoon to you. What a great event.
A really good event, Ryan. I have to get on streaming to see you. What gives? I don't know what's going on, but glad you're on. I'm glad to be here. But yeah, you talk about autism. What a great, just cause. These kids, they're so excited. I mean, as soon as we arrived, I think we kind of stole the show. They go, "We're gonna be on TV. We're gonna be on TV," and they missed their moment. We just had a group leave not moments ago, and we're gonna have one last group come before their 2 o'clock in. But we've got Melvindale Police Department. You've got Wayne County Sheriff, deputies out here, Dearborn Fire. They're all out. We also have a nonprofit. Mimi's Mission, they're out here as well, just kind of helping out and just spreading awareness on autism. You've got these kids from Allendale Elementary School, 2nd to 5th grade, all of them, like I said, just excited to be out here, one, to get out of school, right? But marching for a mission. I'm told there's about 1,000 kids that are part of the march today. So all the teachers are saying, majority of their students here at the school, do have autism. They're on the spectrum. And so this is just all about making the community aware, making our police officers aware. This is also a big public safety factor here as well. A lot of these officers trying to build relationships with these kids so they're comfortable and asking for help and reaching out as they get older as well. Listening to some of the sound, just hearing about, this day and what this means for the kids here.
Lots of smiles on their faces, even just watching them walk, feeling included in with all the rest of the kids. It was just a great experience for them.
It encourages a sense of pride, a pride in oneself, a pride in your identity, and it also makes other students more aware and more understanding of any struggles that they might have.
All right, so I just cued this. I think I spoke this into existence. Look at the kids there. Hi, kids! I'm going to try and rally them up here. That's probably not a good idea. They have candy and wristbands out here. It's probably a good mix for them. But you see the banner. Again, this is just all about the culture here. Inclusivity, I'm told, is the theme. That's the vibe. That's all what they're promoting here. Last group of the day, Ryan, coming out to have some fun. Again, spreading awareness about this disorders, spectrum disorder. It's a good day, I think, to be out here in Melvindale, Ryan.
I'm telling you, Tanisha, look at the timing on that. Timing is everything in life, and
yeah,
there you have it.
I know. Hey. Yeah, you know what, Ryan? I think this is just what it's all about, right? This community coming out, parents are involved, they're excited as well. Just really excited that the school is putting this together and putting their families first.
And those parents that you had there that you featured, I mean, just the fact that these kids feel that they are not alone and that they are included and that they feel some sort of pride in the day. I mean, that goes a long way, does it not, Tanisha? You're out there around them.
It really does. I mean, look, they're so excited. I was telling the teachers too. I mean, you really can't even tell, who has, who doesn't. Everyone's just smiling. They're so happy. Look at them waving. Hi! They're so happy. Everyone just all friends, buddied up. They're, holding hands, crossing the street and whatnot. So yeah, it's just all about inclusivity, as I said, and it's just a good theme and really a good thing to promote.
Day right there, Tanisha. You win, my friend. Great job out there. Awesome story. Thanks so much.
Yep.
That is awesome. Makes me smile as well. We are going to take a break. When we come back, another person that makes me smile, even on a cold day, even on a rainy day. But today there is no rain. The great Derek Kevra, Weather Authority, going to join me now for a look at the weekend forecast and the highs, the lows, and those lows aren't going too low. That's a good thing. We'll be right back. Fox 2 Detroit Live is just getting started. You are looking live. Downtown Detroit off in the distance. Bayview Yacht Club there. It's going to be bustling with all those sailboats coming up. Maybe a month from now you get your boat in the water. Why not? We are back here. It is my good friend, the one, the only Weather Authority, Derek Kevra on a Friday.
Ryan, hello, bud. What?
If you missed the story, you missed the story.
It's so
we
silly.
see each other in the hallway and we just make the goofiest face at each
For
other.
no reason.
I don't know. We started doing this months ago
Yeah.
after a decade plus of working
It's a
together.
little bit of like, oh, there you are. Oh,
Derek?
hi. Hello. Hello.
Are you there?
Ryan, 1:14.
Whatever gets you through the day.
1:14 in the afternoon on a Friday, and temperatures are at 48 degrees.
We'll take it. It's sunny out there. It feels 58 degrees.
Yeah, it's way better than this week. I mean, we talked about how this week was a return to winter weather, and it was. High temperatures all week long, stuck in the low 40s. Heading into the weekend, we're back into the 50s, and then the long-term trend is going to be more 50s and 60s than 40s. That's good. So we're moving in the right direction here. Taking a live look up north. We started at Bayview Yacht Club down here, and now we're going to go up north. This is north of Gaylord, Indian River up there. Temperatures 48 degrees off to the north as well. So it's milder all across the state of Michigan right now, but the skies are blue, and that's the big thing. You're going to notice something interesting, Ryan, when I show you the satellite radar. Right here, that's where the clouds are. This is cloud cover. You see this? Cloud cover.
in the 30s.
Yeah, and they're colder. Should I keep going? You
Yeah,
got the
sure.
You got the picture? Should
Why
I keep?
not?
I mean, I might as well just fill it in, right? All right, there we go. All right, so that's cloudy. Everybody else is sunny. So we're on the sunny side of all of this, and the sunshine. See, here we go. You see this? Right after that, we're going to show you where those clouds are. So again, that line of clouds right there. And we're in the sunshine. We're going to remain in the sunshine, but we're going to keep a close eye on that line because if it tracks just a little tiny bit further west, it may impact some areas like Port Huron. So in eastern St. Clair County, in eastern Wayne County, eastern Macomb County, perhaps a few of those clouds filter over, but most of us, the vast majority of the state of Michigan, is going to be clear and sunny through today, through tomorrow as well. And then we're going to be dealing with some spotty rain showers as we head into Sunday. What you're looking at right here is a 48-hour snowfall projection. Do you see anything other than 0?
No, I don't.
That's good. Okay, so 0 snow is expected across the state of Michigan over the next 48 hours. We're moving also in a direction where those snowfall numbers don't change a whole lot, even across northern Michigan, too, although they generally still see some snow even into late April. For us,
dealing with that ice storm still, right?
It's been rough up in northern Michigan. That ice, historic ice storm, 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick ice, took down a lot of trees, a lot of branches. Power lines, they're still dealing without power off to the north. So kind of a rough situation. Now, as we move into the weekend, we've got a chance for some Sunday spotty showers. Today looks pretty good, even by 8 o'clock. You know, still some sunshine out there these days of the year. It's like sunset is like 8:09 or something like that. So we're still going to see some sunshine.
Better than 4:09.
That's right. It's a better, that is a much better Friday evening and nighttime forecast that we've had over the course of the last couple of days. Here's a weekend forecast, 56 and 55. We'll show you the next 7 here. There is a little bit of a dip Monday night into Tuesday as we fall back down to 49 degrees, but we warm up Wednesday, Thursday, back to the nearly 60-degree mark, and that takes us into next weekend as well. So these are all positive things, especially if you're someone like me, Ryan. I know this was you last year, but I'm coaching the baseball team, Little League. We have had 0 practices so far. They all keep getting canceled.
It's such a bummer, too.
Yeah.
I almost feel like they should move the season at least a couple of weeks.
But then you start bumping into summer vacation.
And then, heaven forbid, parents.
Yeah, so we've had 0 practices. This Saturday marks our very first practice, and the weather is shaping up to be pretty good for it. I mean, it's going to be a little cool early in those hours Saturday morning, but by the afternoon, 55, 56, it's pretty nice.
What's your strategy? Are you playing a little soft toss first? They'll swing the bat, throw the ball?
You tell me, because I've got a map. I got like a practice guide. And
you start with laps?
I'm going to start with running around.
Yeah.
Get them moving a little bit. And then I thought we would do a little toss. Catch, have a catch.
Absolutely.
And then I was thinking we would do a little hitting, a little fielding, maybe there's 10 kids on a team, so maybe break them up 5 and 5.
Absolutely.
You think this is?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Break them up.
Tell me more.
Get
what
2
else?
lines going. Well, I always like to, sorry. If you were hitting at the plate, whoever's hitting it on the plate, the on deck person, whoever's third there in that order is hitting off the tee, off the tee,
into the cage,
into the fence,
into the fence. Yeah.
And then it goes on deck.
So you're always
doing,
because you don't want them bored.
Don't want everybody bored. You need 2 hitters, one off a tee.
I was thinking I had something else on the agenda. What was it?
Coaches, we got you.
It was a little catch. It was a little hitting, little fielding. Outfield and infield.
Yep.
Little different skill sets there. Now, was yours coach pitch or was yours
machine pitch?
All right, so listen to what my league is. It's rotating innings, coach pitch, player pitch.
Oh.
Coach pitch, player pitch. Now, on player pitch innings, you get 3 strikes and you're out. But I don't think the umpire can ring a player up.
You're out.
I don't think so.
Oh, man.
But 4 balls thrown by a player, a coach comes in to then finish it off.
I love that.
So it's coach pitch, player pitch, but also coach kind of stuff. Now, I don't think I'm going to be a good pitcher.
I'm not either. I'm not a good pitcher unless I could fire it in. But you're not trying to mow kids down.
No, you're just trying to get it. And it makes it harder.
Right, it does.
So, there's a lot of rules. I mean, let's see, catchers can only catch 4 innings.
I know there is a lot of rules in the Little League.
On days they catch, they can't pitch.
I need video of this, Derek.
They can only pitch 50 pitches a game, but that's not really a problem for my league because it's every other inning. Once they pitch 50 pitches, they can't pitch for 4 more days.
Fine.
I mean, it's crazy. It's like there's all these rules.
I need video. It almost feels like you need a PhD to get through the rules.
I during the coaches meeting, I raised my hand. I was like, "Do the umpires know the rules?" And they're like, "Yes." And I was like, "Great. I'm just gonna whatever they say is fine."
Right. I need a
If the umpire
picture.
says, "Coach, that kid can't pitch," I'd be fine. Well, I'm not arguing with you. We'll bring someone else in. Tommy can come in. You know,
I'm going to start calling you the manager.
Manager. That's
The
me.
manager.
The head manager.
You're called in baseball.
Yeah, manager.
Same with T-ball and Little League.
But have we discussed how strange it is that baseball managers are the only manager in any sport that wears the uniform of the player?
I want to see basketball
That's weird, right?
coaches wear the tank
Right.
tops.
Football coaches don't do it.
Right.
Basketball doesn't
See
do it.
Bill
Hockey doesn't do it.
Belichick in a full gear.
Right. I mean, it's the only sport that happens. It's a
Now,
little.
for the Lions, if you had Dan Campbell in full gear, he'd want to go out there.
He would play. He'd put himself. He'd sub in.
Hey, Derek, did you see this? Speaking of sports, college hockey last night. How about the finish? Western Michigan in the Frozen Four. You're supposed to hit it. Western Michigan in the Frozen Four.
Going to win this game 3-2, possibly in double overtime. Mike goes for the win. He scores! Owen
Love you, D.
Michaels is the hero.
Kid from Northville winning it for Western. Owen Michaels, second goal of the game. Broncos won it 3-2. They will play for the national championship on Saturday. All right, we're going to get to a break. Coming up next, Ronya is here. I'm way over, so we're going to get to Ronya next. Welcome back, Fox 2 Detroit Live. I'm Ryan Armani. Time now to break down today's rundown with Ronya, the great, the one, the only Ronya Shimona.
Oh my goodness, look at that intro. Ryan, how are you?
It's a Friday.
It's a
Sun
Friday.
is shining. It's about 50 degrees. I
Just
feel like
a-
we're turning a corner.
Well, just out of curiosity, what is your battery life at on your phone right now?
18%.
18%? Oh my gosh,
Yep.
I'm at 60.
60?
And I'm 60%, and I'm still kind of a little panicked about it. And that leads to my only story today, which has to do with percentages on your battery and the panic kicking in.
Oh my gosh.
There is a whole study about this by Talker Research that surveyed 2,000 Americans, and they found that the average panic percentage for cell phone users is 38%. So
38%?
That's when the
What are you
anxiety
talking about?
kicks in, the panic kicks in, and you're wondering where's the charger, right?
Oh my gosh.
Now here's the other kicker to this. 34% of people get concerned when their battery dips below 20%. I'm just going to assume, Ryan, that you are probably never above 20%.
Actually, to be honest with you, I am always above 20%.
Really?
I don't know why it's at 18% today.
I don't know what's going on with the Super, too. The Super's acting funny, too. Look at that. The Super's...
The people panic at cell phones hit percent 38. Percent 38, they panic.
Hey, you know...
38%, I wouldn't say makes me panic, Ronya, but I think at 38%, you say to yourself, I do not want this to get anywhere near 20, because then you get in trouble.
Yes.
And then you just don't know how quickly it will go from 20 to 0. And
Very
then you're
quickly.
stuck.
Very quickly. Do you have a portable battery charger?
Not a portable battery charger. I have one in the car. I have one in my office. There's really no reason why this is at 18%.
You got to charge the charger, too.
I almost feel like I've overcharged it. There's a reason why it hasn't done that. Doing anything fun this weekend, Rhodia?
No. I think it's just a very relaxing weekend, which I'm content with. And, yeah, sometimes that's all you need. What about you, Ryan?
Got a birthday party tonight for my little guy.
Aw.
It's not his birthday. I'm just taking him to a birthday party, a little father-son kickball party.
And you stick around, right?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I'm going to be destroying these kids left and right, trying to kick the ball right in their face. I got you.
Oh, my gosh. And you're going to take some videos?
No. If
can
there's
air
no
it on
video,
Monday.
there's no evidence. Ronya, have a great weekend. Bree Teamer coming up next. Tom Carr is my left hand here because he's there. There you go. Good job, Tom Carr. Bree Teamer coming up next. Stay right there. Fox.
What's up, Detroit? Happy Friday. We made it. My name is Bree Teamer. It's April 11th, 48 degrees in our state today, and we're live from our Fox 2 Detroit studios. You're watching Fox 2 Detroit Live.
Live from the Fox 2 newsroom, this is Fox 2 Detroit.
An investigation is underway into what caused the deadly helicopter crash in New York City. The chopper broke apart in midair yesterday afternoon and plunged upside down into the Hudson River. All 6 people on board died, including 3 children. Some witnesses say they were first alerted to the crash by all the loud noise.
It almost sounded like 5 or 6 gunshots out of the sky.
We were like, oh my God, and we started screaming because we were like, is this really happening?
The helicopter was operated by New York Helicopter Tours. Radar reports show it was in the air for less than 18 minutes. The victims, a family of tourists from Spain, and the pilot. Their bodies are mangled up in the helicopter when it crashed, and those bodies were recovered from the Hudson last night. Well, the tariff trade war between the United States and China, it deepens as China announces retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports. Beijing raising its tariffs on American products to 125% in the latest escalation. Now, the U.S. is also levying a 125% tariff on Chinese goods. China says it's willing to fight to the end on tariffs and has been reaching out to other countries attempting to strike down deals of its own. China's new tariffs on the U.S. go into effect tomorrow. Meanwhile, the United Auto Workers are supporting President Trump's tariff plan, hoping it will lead to more jobs and better security. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch breaks down some of the numbers.
UAW President Shawn Fain has been known to openly criticize President Donald Trump. Well, last night he took to live stream to talk about the 25% tariffs that have been imposed by the Trump administration and actually did the opposite. He told UAW membership that he thinks that these tariffs could help and that the automakers should be able to absorb the costs associated with this. Now, according to the Center for Automotive Research, those 25% tariffs equal about $41.9 billion in costs for the big three. We're, of course, talking about General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, and that nearly 7 million vehicles would be affected by the tariffs. Now, Shawn Fain, as you know, often took to social media during UAW's historic strike back in 2023 to update his membership. Well, he did that again last night, again saying that he doesn't support random and reckless tariffs, but he does think that this one could help the auto industry and that it could help revitalize it. Here's more from his nearly hour-long address last night.
The auto tariffs are a first step in ending the free trade disaster. And, you know, with things that are going on with labor and things like that, we don't need to trust Donald Trump or any politician to fix it for us. But I want to be clear about this. The Trump administration is the first administration in my lifetime that's been willing to do something about this broken free trade system. Tariffs are the first step. But we need to put out our vision for an auto industry that doesn't leave behind working class people.
Now, Fain's hour-long address came a week after those tariffs went into effect. And according to the Anderson Economic Group, UAW members could see their profit-sharing checks drop by up to $4,000 as a result. Reporting from Southfield, I'm Robin Murdoch, Fox 2 News.
Well, the state Supreme Court with the ruling regarding young murderers. According to the court, 19 and 20-year-olds who commit first-degree murder cannot automatically be sentenced to life in prison. The majority opinion stating the mandatory sentence does not allow for consideration of factors like youth or the potential for rehabilitation. The 2 justices who ruled against it say the gravest offense under Michigan law deserves the most severe sentence in Michigan. Well, a rough arrest in Detroit caught on camera. The man on the ground being punched by Detroit police is talking about it with Fox 2. Now, this happening at about 3 o'clock in the morning on Monday at a gas station at 6 Mile in Greenfield. He says he went back to the vehicle to get one of his friend's bags when this happened.
I closed the door, proceeded to go to the store, and then right in that flash of me like turn and walk away, I felt somebody grabbing me, and I looked back. It was police.
Stop, bro! Y'all have no permission to search nothing.
I never resisted. All I did was ask questions.
And what did they arrest you on?
Assaulting a police officer, and they tried to charge me with CCW, carrying a concealed weapon.
Did you have a weapon?
No, ma'am.
In a statement from Detroit police, they say he ignored commands. They were told he had a concealed weapon. He resisted arrest. Police tell us the case remains under review. Well, U of M students gather in Ann Arbor furious over the elimination of DEI programs. Students called out university officials and the feds for revoking student visas as part of an immigration crackdown. Fox 2's Dave Kenshin was there.
I want all of you to say, we are the people.
We are the power.
University of Michigan students and some faculty taken to the iconic Diag for a new generation of protests, this time clapping back over U of M ending its diversity offices and programs after mounting pressure from the Trump administration, which has railed against DEI efforts in higher education and business.
There's no reason we should be doing this right now. There's no reason, but we have to.
U of M's Black Student Union hosting the rally during their 57th year on campus and on the 50th anniversary of the Black Action Movement, with organizers saying they now have a new war to wage.
People don't know if scholarships are being cut. People are getting emails in the middle of class that their scholarship is gone. People are just, in one day they have a job, the next morning they don't.
Also at issue, the visas and legal residency of 22 Michigan students and recent graduates revoked by the feds, with similar actions taking place at other universities around the country.
When Mahmoud Khalil was kidnapped by the Department of Homeland Security at Columbia University, all these universities, including ours, were silenced.
All of these issues now being brought to university leadership. What does the U of M administration tell you when you bring your concerns to them?
Honestly, it's usually a lot of paternalistic responses that students don't understand.
U of M administration confirmed the revoking of the student visas and legal status in a letter published online and signed by University President Santa Ono and other school officials. They said the federal government has not shared the reasons for their actions. The Trump administration has previously said similar actions at other schools are part of their ongoing immigration crackdown. As for the end of DEI,
it's really sad. It's damn near embarrassing for the country.
Last month, the university said it will shift resources over to student programs, including financial aid, mental health, student life, plus its ethnic and cultural programs. But students we talked with say they're going to keep on fighting.
I think we're hopeful.
We did reach out to the University of Michigan to get an updated statement on this matter. We have not yet heard back. In Ann Arbor, Dave Kinchin, Fox 2 News.
Well, our friends from Detroit Public School Community District Foundation are here. They have a new collab with the popular Detroit brand, Detroit versus Everybody. And we have Carrie Mitchell, President and CEO of DPSCD Foundation, to tell us more about this collaboration. Carrie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about this. We know Detroit versus Everybody. They're everywhere. They're not even in Detroit anymore. They're all across the country.
They're expanding.
Who came up with this collaboration?
You know what? It was a collaborative approach that's been in the making for a couple of years now. And what's so exciting is that we have an event that's coming up too. And so it blended well with the partnership coming. And they had a few at some select schools, but it just ballooned when we said it would be great and a great opportunity for all the schools to be properly represented. And then from there, we have all the high schools, open and closed. So your closed schools like Murray Wright is there. Cooley High School is there. And of course, the staples like the other schools like Osborne, King High School, of course, I'm biased. That's where I graduated from. But all of the selections are there. And it's really just a way for people to show just popular camaraderie and proud that they are a DPSCD graduate. And it gives them a reason to come back and to support our current students.
Carrie, what do you think this means for Detroit students, whether they're alums, current students, prospective students maybe? What do you think it means for them to have their school on apparel like this?
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for them to see others that went through the same doors as they have be so successful and come back and help back in this way. And so it's intentional for us to always want our alumni to come back and see how they can support our current students. I know when people came back to help me, it was very influential in who I became today. And so this is always going to be a full circle moment. And what I appreciated most about Tommy and Sean approach to this collaboration is that it's a fundraising component to it. And so our goal is to give back. Well, their goal is to give the foundation $250,000.
Wow.
So we really need we really need to have people go in and buy some shirts just so it can help, because we're doing so many great things for our students, between going out of the country on field trips, by going on college tours, even making sure that our students are going into dual enrollment, which allows them to leave high school with an associate's degree and a high school diploma at the same time. And so this can go so many different ways and so many different opportunities for our current students.
So if we aren't a part of any of the Detroit schools, like myself, which hoodie should we get?
Just get the DPSCD versus everybody, because at the end of the day, we are looking for people to really support public education in Detroit, and that this is a popular way to do it.
So you said that there's a fundraising component to all of this. Tell us a little bit more about what the proceeds go to and what they benefit.
So it's going to support our Tyrone E. Winfrey Hall of Fame Alumni Gala that's taking place on May 3rd at Cass Technical High School. And so this is our fundraising event that encourages alumni or those that support public education in Detroit DPSCD students to come back and see everything that we've been doing to ensure our students are prepared for college or career ready by the time they leave our collegiate careers. So I'm very excited for this event. It's our third installment of it, and it's just kind of ballooned where people are coming back to say, I went to Osborne, I went to Kettering, I went to King, but we all are coming back to ensure that our students are properly represented.
You know, I'm feeling a little FOMO here because our planning editor, Al Johnson, he had one on the other day. He had the Mumford versus everybody on. I'm like, what?
Just put on the DPSCD one. Yes, yes, and you're still a part of it. And again, you're still giving back to our students, which is the most important thing about this collaboration.
And how do we buy this? Is this only for a limited amount of time?
So it's not a limited amount of time, but just go to versuseverybody.com. It's right there. Also go to dpscdfoundation.org to know more about our foundation and what we're doing. But those are ways that people can continue to be supportive of us.
Okay, Carrie, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about this. This is super cool, and I know that it's going to be a huge success.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, have you ever looked in the mirror at work and wondered, did I leave the house like this? Now, according to a new trend, you didn't, and the office air phenomenon is to blame. Fox News correspondent Alexis McAdams has something to tell you about that.
As hours in the office tick by, workers' looks deteriorate, according to a new TikTok trend.
I'll do my hair, I'll do my makeup, I will put on a nice outfit, and I always feel like by the end of the day, it's like I had not done any of those things. My makeup is almost completely gone, my hair has fallen, and I just generally feel very uncomfortable and gross.
Accountant Hope Doherty is not alone. Employees across the country blaming the office air phenomenon for drying out their skin, making their hair frizz up, and melting off their makeup long before 5 o'clock hits. The theories pointing to extreme heating and air conditioning and a lack of fresh air.
Air may be recycled, recirculated, so the air tends to be very dry, so not a lot of moisture in the air, not a lot of humidity.
Add in fluorescent lighting.
Keep in mind that if you're taking a look in the mirror trying to do selfies at work, the lighting is not great. So when you have artificial light, really harsh fluorescent lightings, it's going to look like you have more of a washed out or pale appearance.
Office air not only impacts how workers look and feel, some say can also affect their performance.
If you don't feel good, you are not as focused because your mind is being diverted to think about how gross you feel. You are not as confident, and that is very important in a workplace, especially for women.
Dermatologist Susan Masick says while the air might be dry, it's not toxic, adding there are additional factors to consider, including long hours, blue light from your computer, and stress.
Stress can make a huge impact when it comes to your skin, how you're feeling, and it can be work stress, it can be work-life balance stress, it can be lots of different stressors. And then when you're stressed, the increased cortisol levels, you might find that your regular skin conditions, whether you have eczema or psoriasis, are much, much worse.
But if you're experiencing symptoms of office air, Dr. Masick says it can be prevented with a simple skincare regimen.
Typically, you want people to have a good moisturizer. It helps replenish the moisture, hydrate the skin. You want to make sure that you're using a daily sunscreen because you can have ultraviolet light exposure, but also the high energy visible light, which can be associated with fluorescent lighting, computer screens.
So you have to go to work, but what can you do when you get there to prevent this? Well, doctors say stay hydrated, drink plenty of water, avoid too much caffeine and energy drinks, and take a walk. Reporting in New York, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
Well, millions of people drink coffee every day, but is it possible to drink too much of it? Julia Zabano, a registered dietitian at the Cleveland Clinic, says that you can find that answer out by analyzing your caffeine intake. Zabano says Federal Drug and Food Administration, the FDA guidelines, they say to keep caffeine intake under 400 milligrams a day. She says an average 8-ounce cup of coffee equates to around 100 milligrams. So be on the lookout for that. And there's more information on our website, fox2detroit.com on that. All right, well, we want to take you live now to Detroit's Third Circuit Court, where a Detroit man will be sentenced today for setting his pregnant girlfriend on fire during a dispute back in 2022.
Had a surgical procedure this morning, and we couldn't find a date earlier. This is the date and time set for sentencing. The court is in receipt of a pre-sentence investigation report and recommendation from the Department of Corrections. The first thing we're going to do is to go over that report and make whatever corrections as are appropriate in this case. Start out with the initial issue. This is a case in which Mr. Marsh pled guilty pursuant to a sentence agreement. He pled guilty on March 10th, 2025 of count 1, controlled substance delivery or manufacture of a narcotic containing cocaine less than 50 grams. That this is a second or subsequent offense with a double penalty. He also pled guilty to a weapons charge, felony firearm second. Excuse me. That was a second offense as well. The maximum penalty for the controlled substance offense is 40 years, according to the record, and the maximum offense for a second felony firearm is 5 years. The persons in the Department of Corrections calculated the jail credit at 1,184 days. They noted the plea agreement to be that the people agreed to dismiss counts 1, counts 3 through 7, and counts 9 through 13. To withdraw the notice to enhance the sentence, habitual fourth, which says it has a minimum of 4 years and a maximum of 25. The sentence agreement as to count 2 is reported to be between 10 and 20 years in the Department of Corrections. As to count 8, 5 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections to be served consecutive to the sentence under count 2. Jail credit as allowed by law, as calculated by the court at sentencing, and any other terms or conditions of a sentence included, but not limited to, fines and costs as determined by the court. Did they accurately record both the nature of the charges and the nature of the sentence agreement?
Your Honor, that is accurately reflected. I will note some of the abbreviations may have thrown the court off. The habitual offender fourth offense notice that is being dismissed is the habitual offender fourth offense mandatory minimum 25-year sentence. So we are withdrawing the mandatory minimum 25-year sentence enhancement pursuant to the agreement in this case. But aside from that correction, Your Honor, the court has correctly stated the plea agreement as the people recall.
On behalf of the defense.
The defense concurs, Your Honor.
Looking at the pre-sentence investigation report, are there any substantive changes or errors or omissions on behalf of the people?
Not to the body of the report, Your Honor. The people do wish to address guidelines when that time comes.
Okay, I would indicate that when I look at page 4, I don't know quite what they mean, but they're alleging that Ms. Pritchard was A, alive, and B, in the hospital. That is, of course, inaccurate, is it not?
That is inaccurate, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. This is page 4 of the... can you direct me to a paragraph?
Injuries. They're describing the injuries of Ms. Pritchard.
Yeah, Your Honor, yes, that was how it was reported initially by the police at the time of the arrest in this case, at the time of the police entered the home. So that is was accurate when it was initially written by the police. It is inaccurate to state that that is the current status as of now.
I'm going to put a parenthesis after injuries, put in as of arrest, presently deceased.
Correct.
Okay. Looking at the information regarding the defendant's prior record, are there any additions, corrections to that?
Not for the people, Judge.
Not for the defense, Your Honor.
Okay. Are there any other, and then we could go, if we would, to the sentence information report. The sentence information report indicates PAC code 333.7401-2A4, being the controlled substance PAC code, that this is a class D felony, that the offense date is 1/14/2022, that this is count 2, and it was scored as of 1/14/22 with a habitual second. Is that information accurate?
In part, Your Honor. He is not convicted as a habitual second, but the sentence to the offense is enhanced pursuant to a second offense notice to which he admitted at the time of plea allocution. So there's a separate sentence offense notice related to a sentence enhancement related to a controlled substance offense, but it is not in and of itself a habitual notice.
So what would you have me do to the face of the report?
I would have you strike habitual second, and I would have you amend the and I would have you strike habitual second, and I will note that the offense title already indicates second offense subsequent double penalty. So I don't think there's anything else that needs to be done aside from striking that it is habitual.
Would you concur, Mr. Crumbley?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. As to the PRV score, PRV 1 is scored at 75, 2 at 30, 3 at 0, 4 at 5, 5 at 0, 6 at 10, 7 at 0, which they say adds up to 120 PRV points, PRV level F. Is that accurate?
The people believe the PRVs to be accurately scored.
On behalf of the defendant.
The defense agrees and concurs, Your Honor.
As to the offense variables, OB1 is scored at 0, OB2 at 0, OB3 at 0, OB4 at 0, OB5 9 at 0, OB 10 at 0, OB 12 at 0, OB 13 at 0, OB 14 at 0, OB 15 at 5, 16 0, 19 0, 20 0, which they say adds up to 5 and gives us an OB level of 1. So, is that accurate?
The people take issue with the scoring of the offense variables, specifically OVs 2, 12, and 13. And the people would like to argue those when the court is ready.
Please do so.
Your Honor, as to OV2, it's clear from the facts of the case, the charges to which he pled and the allocution that was given at the time of the plea, that the defendant was in possession of a firearm at the time, that he was also in possession of the controlled substances. I believe that warrants a scoring of 5 points for OV2. Your Honor, the people believe that OV12 should be scored at 10 points for contemporaneous felonious acts for which the defendant was not convicted. Your Honor can take the narrative contained within the PSIR into account when fashioning sentence. The narrative contained within the PSIR, in addition to the record of the case and the allocutions that Your Honor will likely hear this afternoon, all support findings that there were 2 or more crimes against a person that were also committed for which the defendant is not facing convictions. Therefore, OV12 should be scored at 10 points. And the people would request OV13 be scored at 10 points for continuing pattern of felonious criminal activity, specifically for 3 or more controlled substance delivery or manufacture offenses within the 5-year period. And that is supported by the record contained within the PSIR. The court will note 2 Oakland County 2019 delivery manufacture cases for which the defendant was on release at the time of these offenses. You add those to the sentencing offense, we get to that 3 within 5 years, warranting a score of 10. So the people believe that the correct level, or the correct OV score, should be a total of 30 points.
And an OV level of?
Bear with me, Judge. I wrote down the total guideline score, but I did not write down the OV level for that.
Okay. Mr. Crumbley, as relates to OV2.
Your Honor, defense leaves that to the court's discretion, understanding the allegations in charge within the reports. As to, I'm sorry, go ahead, Your Honor.
Please proceed.
As to OV12, Your Honor, I look for clarification as to the crimes against the person from counsel. 2 or more crimes against the person. I'm not sure how that's being how that's being quantified.
People would state assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder, or by strangulation, which was dismissed. People would also point to assault with a dangerous weapon, lighter fluid, or fire, which again is supported by the facts contained within the PSIR, getting us to 2 or more crimes against a person.
Your Honor, noting that those crimes have been dismissed, Your Honor, the defense would object to OV12 being changed. And as,
okay, as relates to 13?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. My apologies.
13 is where you're going, please.
Right. As to the continuous pattern, Your Honor, we leave that to the court's discretion.
The court agrees that there is a factual basis to score 5 points under OV2. The court takes note of the allegations of assault and of the lighter fluid from the reports, and will grant 12 at 10. Because there are multiple narcotic offenses within 5 years rather, the court will grant the people's position as to scoring OV13 at 10. I agree that adds up to 30, and I need to know what does that
It
make
would
the
bring
OV
us,
level?
It would bring us, Your Honor, to an OV level of 3 with a total guideline score of 29 to 57.
$29 to 57 years, months,
Months,
days?
Your Honor, months.
Right. Would you agree that, despite the fact that you don't agree to the OV scoring, that that would place this at 29 months to 57 months?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would you like to now proceed on behalf of the people to the victim impact?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't have an opportunity to be heard regarding the PSI report. There were a couple corrections that I wanted to discuss. Before we
I thought I asked it. I asked if there were any. It's okay. What are they?
Right, you did. And prosecution spoke, but then things continued without. In any event, Your Honor, on page 2 of the basic information report, Your Honor, under the current offenses, both as listed, it lists Ms. Tanya Pritchard as a victim. The information nor the police reports cite or refer to Ms. Pritchard as a victim in regard to the particular current offenses, the crimes that he actually pled to. So we are specifically seeking a correction there as to Ms. Pritchard being a victim. Beyond that, Your Honor, in the evaluation and plan on page, it's like page 1 of the evaluation and plan portion of the pre-sentence investigation, it simply lists Mr. Marsh's date of birth as 3/30/1995, and Mr. Marsh was born in 1980. Beyond that, Your Honor, we see no other corrections.
What is the people's position as relates to those?
Your Honor, as it relates to the date of birth correction, the people take no position, leave that to the court's discretion. I think his date of birth is a matter of record. Your Honor, while the crimes to which he pled are not traditional victim offenses, this case still has a victim. The fact that a negotiated settlement was reached does not erase that. And I would ask that the court not modify the description of the offenses contained within the PSI.
I respectfully disagree that it should not be corrected. I think it should be corrected to say that she was a victim of the uncharged and dismissed counts. And I would make that correction.
And Your Honor, defense will take would object to the characterization of Ms. Pritchard as a victim, even as to the charges that were dropped in this matter, particularly given the record evidence which led to the reduction in this case, or the drop of those charges.
Okay, I would indicate that there is conflicting information as to what occasioned her being set afire. There does not seem to be any conflicting information about, after her being set afire, that she was not taken for any medical care for a number of days. To that end, I'll continue with my assertion that she's a victim of dismissed charges, not a victim of the public crime of controlled substance. With that, are we prepared to hear from?
I'd truly like to have a mom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Summer going to come on down, or does she want to remain with you?
She's going to come on down.
Okay. Thank you, Summer. And thank you. I appreciate that. Back in the gallery. And Ms. Mullins, if you could tell the court your name and how you're related to Ms. Pritchard, and then give us your statement.
Alrighty. My name is Trisha Mullen. I'm related to Ms. Pritchard by being her biological sister. Your Honor and established members of the court, today I stand before you as a representative of my beloved sister Tanya, who tragically lost her life due to infections from the heinous actions from the defendant. On January 10th, 2022, my sister's life was forever changed when she was intentionally set on fire while pregnant with his twins. The physical, emotional pain she endured in her final days is unimaginable. What's equally disturbing is that after committing this horrific act, the defendant showed lack of humanity. By the 4 following days, he left her there for 4 long days. He left my sister to suffer in agony without seeking any medical attention for her or his 2 unborn kids. He abandoned her and them, leaving them to endure unimaginable pain and trauma. The defendant's actions demonstrated a blanket disregard for human life and a shocking lack of empathy. His decision to prioritize his freedom over my sister's well-being is a chilling statement for his character, not to mention his disregards for his own children that she was pregnant with. As a family, we are still grasping the loss of our loved one. The pain of her absence will forever be felt. The defendant's actions led to more than 30 skin grafts, 90 surgeries, countless blood transfusions, the loss of one of the 2 twins. We explore the court to consider the severity of the defendant's crimes and the devastating impact that they have left our family. We seek justice not only for my sister, but for her children, who will never have the chance to know their mother, plus the children who currently she has, who no longer have a mother. They have lost so much on that day. They will no longer have the chance to have their mother at graduation, weddings. Tanya will no longer get the opportunity to see her grandkids grow old if and when they come. We hope that the defendants will be held accountable for his actions and that the court will impose a sentence that reflects the gravity of his crime. In closing, I would like to say, in my sister's memory, I will live on through us. We will continue to fight for justice in her honor. We will never forget the pain and suffering she endured, and we will ensure that her story will never be forgotten. The defendant's actions were not only horrific, but prominent in his decision by leaving my sister to suffer for 4 days without medical attention, demonstrated a lack of empathy and humanity, where we encourage the court to please show the severity of the crime when imposing the sentence to reflect the gravity of his actions. We also hope that the sentence will be served as a deterrent to others who will commit such heinous crimes. No family should ever have to endure the pain and suffering that we have experienced. I lost my best friend, my sister. My mother and father ask that you put yourself in our shoes. And with that, what would you do if this was your child? Please make sure that he cannot hurt another person by giving our family justice. Tanya and her children's name, Your Honor. Thank you for the court's time. My sister was an incredible person, and I loved her more than any words can express. She is my rock, my confidant, my best friend. I will never forget the laughter, the adventures, the memories we shared. I was my sister's keeper, and her passing has left a big void in my life that can never be filled. I admired her strength and her courage, and how, even after the fire, she still had her spunk and tried to smile. She was a true inspiration while watching her fight. My sister's love and support meant the world to me, and I will always cherish the time we had together. Thank you, Your Honor, for your time, and thank you for your time, this court.
Thank you. Are there any others, or is the people prepared to be heard on sentencing?
The people would like to be heard. Oh, nobody else wants to speak, right? Yeah, the people would like to be heard, Judge. Whenever the court's ready.
Please. I'm ready.
As the court is aware, this was a negotiated settlement. After the passing of Ms. Pritchard, which was unfortunate, we were prepared to take the case forward as best we could, and at the last minute we were able to reach a negotiated settlement in the case, which provides substantial penalty. Your Honor, The penalty in this case that we have agreed upon, you will note, is well in excess of the guidelines that are scored and adopted by this court. We are talking about a 10-year sentence with guidelines of 29 to 57 months. And that was done in consideration for some of the other dismissed offenses. This is how these negotiated settlements work. Is it ideal? Is it perfect? Unfortunately not. But the people believe that this sentence is just in light of all the facts and circumstances, in light of the risks inherent with trial. The people are asking that the court adopt this sentence. Ms. Mullen said something that I think really does need to be taken into consideration by this court, and that's something that ties together the total circumstances of what he did to Ms. Pritchard, and what he ultimately pled to, and that is disregard for human life. We have a defendant who has developed a pattern of controlled substance violations, not just possession, but distribution. There is an image in this case that is going to be burned in my mind forever. And that is Miss Pritchard in the bed, in the basement, when the police come, visibly intoxicated by controlled substances. There was testimony at the preliminary exam that he medicated her, Your Honor. So the drugs to which he ultimately pled tie directly in to his actions in a totality, and the whole thing goes to show that he is an individual with disregard for human life. Again, Your Honor, I ask that you adopt the sentence agreement in this case, and I appreciate the court's time.
I would note that on the SIR, the probation department, which did not do a stellar job in this report, indicated concurrent sentences. That is another error, is that not?
That is, Your Honor, as the court is well aware, and as was included in the plea agreement, the felony firearm second offense notice 5-year penalty is consecutive and preceding the penalty on the controlled substances violation, and that is by function of law. And the jail credit that the court applies would apply to the firearms offense, Your Honor.
Right. On behalf of the defense, please. Does your client wish to speak, sir?
My client does not wish to speak, Your Honor.
All right.
However,
please proceed.
Thank you. On my client's behalf, Your Honor, first I'd like to thank Ms. Pritchard's family for coming here today. We know this is a very difficult and emotionally charged circumstances that brought you here. And the charges and circumstances are not taken lightly in any respect. That said, Your Honor, I only believe it fair to note that, for the record, and understanding that there is a plea agreement in this case, which we are respectfully requesting Your Honor follow, that there are elements of the record which would have been introduced at trial, which draw great doubt into which draw great doubt as to the charges, particularly those against the alleged victim, Ms. Pritchard, in this case, and specifically admissible evidence whereby she herself, without being forced, unequivocally stated that she set herself on fire. I also would like to state that there is a great deal of evidence that would have been introduced at trial, which would lend itself towards a very reasonable explanation, although, of course, not taking away from the the nature of the circumstances, which is horrific, but an explanation and a defense for my client as to why Ms. Pritchard was in that basement for 4 days. There was an explanation for that. That did not come out at trial. I do not believe this to be the forum to go into all of that detail, but I want the court to keep that in mind in this sentencing hearing. Beyond that, Your Honor, again, we respectfully request that Your Honor abide by the sentence agreement, and we hereby rest. Thank you.
Thank you. I would note for the record that the guideline sentence for the offenses for which the defendant pled guilty were 2 years and 5 months to 4 years and 7 months. That the sentence agreement is 120 to 240 months, with the 5-year felony firearm remaining as it is statutorily mandated. Generally speaking, guidelines are appropriate and have been the subject of debates and discussions and settled at a reasonable range proportionate to crimes. They're very helpful to us in assuring that the multiple purposes of sentencing are achieved and the possibility and the probability of return to society is maintained. The sentence in this case is substantially greater than the sentencing guidelines, which would make the court look at it and say, well, even if the people in the defense agreed to it, do I believe that the departure is reasonable and justified relative to the purposes of sentencing? And I reluctantly say I think it is. I'm aware, having been with this case almost since it was filed, that there were vigorous defenses put forth by both this counsel and predecessor counsel. I'm aware that the decedent, who unfortunately was struggling with addiction, offered at least 3 versions of the circumstances that occasioned her being set on fire. All of those circumstances, however, placed her addicted, pregnant, and burnt in a basement for a substantial period of time with no medical care. All of the versions placed the guns and the narcotics in the same basement. My amazement, frankly, was that the other persons in the house who had to either smell the burnt flesh were not charged with something as well. I will follow the recommendation, the sentence agreement, and the recommendations from the Michigan Department of Corrections, and sentence on first to 5 years on the felony firearm 2, with credit of, and move that page, 1,184 days to be applied to those 5 years. Subsequent to that, he is to serve a sentence of 20 to 40 years for the controlled substance count. We would order him to pay crime victims assessment of $68, court costs of $1,000, and attorney's fees of $400. State court costs are also $68. Sir, you have the right to appeal your sentence. In your case, it would be requesting leave of the Court of Appeals to contest your sentence. Leave means that you would have to convince the Court of Appeals that there was a meritorious or good reason to review your plea of guilty. You will be given papers that will remind you of those rights, and it is your obligation to request counsel, if that's what you want, and to request the leave to appeal within the 42 days that will be on that piece of paper. Counsel, have you had the opportunity to, I noticed that your client does have, I do not know whether your client is a fluent reader, so I would ask if you have either read or otherwise discussed his appellate rights with him so that he has an understanding of those.
I'm doing so now, Your Honor. We're going through the form now. Your Honor, my client did have, my apologies for interrupting, my client did have a question. He believes that you stated 20 to 40 years in the sentencing, whereas
it's 10 to 20.
Thank you.
What he heard was me talking about how many months that is. It's 120 to 240.
You've been watching the sentencing of Devon Marsh, who pleaded guilty to charges related to setting his pregnant girlfriend on fire. This incident happened back in January 2022. Those pictures coming from a Wayne County courtroom this afternoon. Tanya Pritchard died 8 months ago due to infections related to that incident. One of the babies died as well. She was pregnant with twins at the time, 6.5 months pregnant. Now, during that hearing, you heard victim impact statements from 2 of Pritchard's family members. They accused him of isolating and abusing her both physically and mentally. Again, she was 6.5 months pregnant with twins at the time she was set on fire back in January of 2022. One of those babies died. Ms. Pritchard died 8 months ago from infections due to the incident. Again, Marsh pleaded guilty in this case. The judge sentenced him to 20 to 40 years in prison. You heard the judge saying that this was well above the sentencing guidelines, but she believed, given the nature of the crime, that going above those guidelines were justified, and that was part of the plea agreement as well. This is Fox 2 Detroit Live at 2. I'm Aaron Jordan. We will have a lot more coming up for you on Fox 2 Detroit Live at 3 with Bree Tamer, your latest news, headlines, and weather. We will have a full recap of this case both on Fox 2 Detroit Live and on the news beginning at 5 o'clock over on Fox 2. For now, we are going to send you over to, we're going to take a break, and then we will go to the best of Jay Towers. Thank you for watching.
I had one of those nice mornings today where I woke up at Hollywood Casino at Greektown, took the day off from television, and came right here to work to do our show.
Wearing a hat. So closer to home, or closer to
work.
And got to sleep in a little bit.
That's
nice. So nice.
Also, had a lovely dinner last night with actor James Jude Courtney.
Aw, our good friend.
Our good friend, Michael Myers from the Halloween films, and his beautiful girlfriend, Sarah. Also another friend of theirs in town, Sarah. So it was a nice dinner.
Oh, Sarah Square.
Sarah Squared.
Did they say hi to the other Sarah? Didn't have to, but did James and Sarah say hi to us?
Oh, they specifically wanted to know if I'd be discussing what I'm about to discuss with you.
Oh, okay.
They said,
don't roll your eyes at me.
This is his thing. Why are you making it about you?
Well,
briefly,
not about Allison. It's all about Allison. So I had this before dinner. They said, well, we want to meet you down on the third floor before we go to. I said, okay. So I met them and they said, we have no idea what to get you for your birthday. We certainly aren't going to get you anything Superman because we know you have everything and all that. I'm like, okay. And they present me. First of all, before I do that,
okay,
let me show you something here. Who is this? Anybody know?
Oh, It's
little
Farquaad. It's a
Farquaad, little Lord Fauntleroy. This is little Lord Fauntleroy, who's been known to be good with his manners, right? He was a good kid.
He was a good kid.
The first influencer, if you will, of young people. Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Okay, I'm not joking when I say this, and I'm also not trying to be offensive.
It's an old thing.
This is well known.
Yeah, not for your group.
That gets said in my house.
Yeah.
Really?
It does, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
This
not
is
all
the
the
first time I'm hearing about this.
Like if I was dressed up for something as a little kid, usually under 5, look at Jason. He looks like a little Lord Fauntleroy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's the
I'm glad
deal.
you had the picture representation.
Yeah, I got that off of Late Night. They do that now. They hold up the picture, right? Instead of using a graphic. And it's easier for Emma. So here's what I've been gifted. James and his girlfriend Sarah surprised me with the ultimate 50th birthday gift. They bought me a very small plot of land in Scotland, which now technically and legally makes me a lord.
What?
I'm Lord J. Towers.
I'm not calling you that.
I will. I'll call you that.
I kid you not.
Hello, my lord. Oh, my God.
I'm a lord.
Stop it. Is it a big enough plot to build like an outhouse?
I don't know if it's that big.
Oh.
But are we going to be able to travel to visit this plot?
Suddenly our glasses and Lego kit don't look so great.
Suddenly I wish
Lord J.
that
Towers.
Allison's Scotland trip was on.
Oh.
No, you don't.
We could have went to my native land.
That's right. We could have got the Lord treatment through you.
I actually have a proclamation.
That is so funny.
Do we have to curtsy when we come in here? I have a hard time getting down.
I'm an official honorary Scottish landowner. Oh, a Scottish landowner.
Are you going to apply for dual citizenship?
No.
Oh, you should.
Okay. Yeah, you should.
Maybe I should.
Are you going to wear a kilt?
Oh, maybe I should.
I wonder how this idea came about.
But for
like,
dignity,
what makes you think that?
For dignity, for law, to be law-abiding.
Yeah.
Technically.
I'm Lord J. Towers.
Yeah. When you get your new real ID, are you going to change it to
I
put
might
Lord
do
in
that.
front?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. Who are you talking to?
You're like Sir Elton John.
I'm like Sir Elton John, but now
different.
You can call me my lord.
I will, my lord. I will totally do it.
And then,
unfortunately, I think Allison is going to be the only one that will be doing that.
Do we have to do this thing? What's this thing? My leash?
My leash? What?
My leash? That's a thing, too.
Do we have to gift you with fruit every time we come in here?
No.
Okay.
No. And here's what's the when it all comes together. It all comes together. So then last night we're at Prism Steakhouse.
Gosh.
Shout out to Lisa. Shout out to Courtney at Hollywood Casino Greektown for hooking us up. Fantastic dinner. But we're there, and oh, come on, you're not going to mess with me here, are you? No.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, of course.
Of course
I can never have anything nice in life. So I'm in the restaurant, and the Killers come on, and I'm like, right in the middle of a story, the Killers comes on, and you know, when we were young come on, and then Sarah Cross goes, oh my God, the girls got you Brandon Flowers on you. We saw your video. I said, I know. And I said, and here I am with James next to me, who played a killer while the Killers were on.
Wow. It was
a hell of a night.
You really are having your best life. Yeah, you are. This one is a winner.
50 is good.
I got to wait for next time around, but you're having it this one.
I just don't even, it was so great. It was so wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I thought I had the audio here. I guess I don't have that either.
It's going to take a while to process this whole royalty thing.
Where are you going to be putting your plaque?
I don't know.
Is that going to go next to your bedside?
It's got to go prominently somewhere.
Or maybe on the mantle.
I know you guys are trying to get that at home, but I actually think it's better served to be here.
Oh, I agree.
Do you?
He needs the respect of many, not just the servants in his home.
Yeah, that's right. I actually might bring it to the iHeart building.
There we go.
Yes, do that.
I'll be my Lord there. Can I just tell you that the Killers are playing my favorite song ever, and I'm with one of my favorite people ever, or my favorite person ever.
And I'm a killer.
See, he gets me to drink. That's the problem.
Yeah, and you know, we kill people. What are we going to do?
We're listening to the Killers, and I'm with a killer. All right, that's all. That's all.
What'd you drink? What does a lord drink?
My Lord drinks Captain and Diet. A pirate drink. All right, that's it. That's all. That's all. 100.3 WNIC. It's time for That's Incredible.
That's incredible.
Incredible stories from around the world and beyond. We'll start with this. A man reaching for his coffee after dropping a donut caused a 3-car accident in Ohio. Goes to show you that when you're driving, nothing like that is important.
No. And honestly, it sounds like it's, drastic, but literally taking your eyes off the road for a second.
Yeah.
Like I think about that, the latest accident the Flex was in. Mm-hmm. And if at that moment, I really thought about it after the fact. If at that moment I had looked down at my phone or anything and did not see that she was going to fly through that stop sign.
Yeah.
That gave me the opportunity to start turning the same way she did, because otherwise that would have been a straight on T-bone.
Yeah.
And she would have driven right into me. So in that second, if I had just, because we all do it.
The reaction time.
I know, but we all glance down. We all grab something. We all,
They say that going at top speed, looking down at your phone while you're driving, isn't it something like you can cover the span of a football field and you don't even realize it?
Wow.
So, amateur golfer Jose Luis Ballester went to the bathroom in the creek during the first round of the Masters. He said he really had to go, and he'd forgotten that there were bathrooms nearby.
I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left, the tee box. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the claps that I really got today, like real loud, so that was kind of funny. I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me, so if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
That's incredible. There's cameras everywhere. It's the Masters.
I also could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I think you would think as your God-given right as a man that you have the right to do that because you can. But I think if there are children around,
you're exposing yourself.
You can get charged
That's
with
right.
something.
You sure can. You sure can. How about this? It looks like Easter is going to be more expensive this year. U.S. egg prices have increased again to reach a new record high of $6.23 per dozen nationwide.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Which they just went down a week ago.
That's whiplash.
And they're back up again.
I told you. I think that the economy can be puppet mastered.
Yeah.
And for a day or two, they can raise or lower as they want for a short period of time.
A short pep talk by an American Airlines gate agent is going viral because it's a reminder to be nice to people. A flight from Birmingham to Charlotte apparently got delayed after almost 8 hours on Sunday, so she asked people to please be nice to flight attendants. Listen.
When you get on my aircraft, don't get small my flight attendants. Be nice to them. They have a hard day just like we do. They have, believe it or not, this same aircraft that's coming in, them same people that's on that aircraft, is the same people that you got to look at been waiting as long as you have.
That's incredible.
It's true.
Yeah, she's basically saying, like, yeah, listen, you had a rough day. Remember, these people have been on this plane like all day, too, and now they have to get on again and keep flying.
8 hours is a long time.
It's a long time.
I thought the 4.5 hours to Vegas felt like forever. Like, I don't know how people do these 24-hour trips to Bali.
I got all cranky with customer service again yesterday.
I don't even want to hear about it.
And she just, do not. Even though I tried to apologize for my behavior at the end of it, she'd already hung up.
Good.
She had it with you.
I was trying to figure out what those little $2 charges were, and it turns out I knew we made them. I just needed someone to tell me.
Oh, my God.
According to new research, the so-called panic percentage, where people start worrying about their phone charge, is 38%.
That's incredible.
But 13% claim they're unfazed until it's under 10%.
Oh, see, once I hit about 20, I'm like,
when I hit
the charger.
Yeah, because when I hit 10, it's just a matter of minutes. Like it's 8, then it's 6. But something that I do that drives Warren crazy, my phone, when it's not here with me at work or if I'm out and about, I will go home and my phone will sit on the charger until, and he's the
bad for it.
He's like, you got to let your battery run down. And I'm like, guess who never ever has low battery?
You.
This girl.
That's incredible.
Finally this morning, the YouTuber who mashed up Yes, Dazban, and Dio have a new one. They call it Yacht Grunge because it's Al Stewart's The Year of the Cat mixed with Come As You Are from Nirvana. I can't wait to hear it. Long intro here, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Wow. It works. That's incredible.
It's great.
Talk about finding a little niche for yourself.
Yeah. That's
I like
crazy.
It's really good.
That's incredible.
All right, there's your That's Incredible on 100.3 WNI. All right, so what happened on this day back in the day? We can start with this. 73 years ago, in 1952, Singing in the Rain was released with Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds.
Never saw it. I mean, that makes sense. But
You've seen this clip.
He's handsome.
Yeah, he was. I do go out of my way sometimes to watch olden time movies, like ones I feel I should know.
Yeah.
Like I watched Citizen Kane.
I know.
That one was rough.
Yeah.
But maybe I have to do it a second time. I don't know. But yeah, I never saw that.
Who's in the Breakfast at Tiffany's? Who's that one?
Audrey Hepburn.
Like, I feel like, because.
And the guy from the A-Team.
Oh.
Hannibal.
Yeah. But I also feel like with, like, women, right, really love her.
Yeah.
Don't women love her? Like, especially a lot of actresses, young actresses love. They talk about. I'm curious to see that movie because I'm like, what? I don't even know what it's about.
I don't either.
But wasn't it like her look in that convertible or something? Isn't it like the whole? It's a big deal with that Breakfast at Tiffany's. I feel like.
Yeah, let's see. She meets a young man when he moves into her apartment building. He's with an older woman who's wealthy, wants to be a writer. She's working as an expensive escort and searching for a rich older man to marry.
She's an escort?
I guess so.
Is that like an
I didn't
old-timey
realize
escort?
that.
Is that somebody that just goes to dinner with you?
Maybe, but all I know about this is the Seinfeld episode where George is in a book club and has to read the book.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And decides to cheat by renting the movie.
And then has to go watch it with strangers.
Right. He has to watch it with strangers. And at the book club, he starts talking about the movie, like how, well, and his girlfriend is like, whatever his name was in the movie, he was gay. Like, he missed the whole point because the movie loses a lot of nuance that the book has.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny.
55 years ago in 1970, the Beatles had this #1 song on the charts.
Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be.
So then this was one of the last ones before they broke up, right?
Yeah.
Let it be. Let it be.
That's a great song.
I was trying to think. I thought yesterday it was 1979 the Beatles broke up.
It was.
No.
It wasn't yesterday?
No, they didn't break up in 79. They broke up in 70, I thought, right?
I'm just saying it was yesterday we talked about
you're
them
right.
breaking up.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's why I said if this was from 1970 as well. 25 years ago in 2000, Britney Spears released Oops, I Did It Again. It reached #1 on the pop chart, but only peaked at #9 on the Hot 100. A little bit of Brit.
That's how this song.
That's how we met her, right? That's
No, Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Oh, right.
But yeah, shortly after.
So good.
Who's it? Is Lizzo going to be on SNL this week?
Is she?
I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
I think Lizzo's going to be on SNL this week, but when they did the promo, she's wearing a Britney Spears t-shirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
So I don't know. I saw the promo yesterday.
Okay.
Interesting, because there were just comments about her saying that she does not think that Britney's the queen of pop, Janet Jackson is. I don't know. There was a whole thing about that.
I feel like we could do better than either.
Yeah.
But okay.
1 year ago in 2024, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter was released. It later earned her one of 2 Grammys, Best Pop Solo Performance. I don't know what the other one was.
I'm just glad we took time to honor that.
This is a good song.
Sure it is.
You know how I learned that it was called espresso and not espresso?
Because there's no X in it?
Well, I didn't. Ina Garten. I thought she was something wrong with her.
Oh, because she said it
When I
the
used to
right
watch
way.
the Barefoot Contessa
She's
back in the
very
day.
polite.
She's like,
British.
Oh, Jeffrey loves espresso. I'm like, why is she saying it that
I
way?
know.
There's no X in it.
You know, it's
dying to
funny
know
because...
about-
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
I want to
Know
see
more about Jeffrey?
a day in her life.
Oh,
what do
yeah.
her and Jeffrey do all day? Does she ever wear sweatpants?
Jeffrey's gone all day.
Well,
He comes home on the train.
Yeah,
he's getting cheese and bread at
First
the
of
market.
all, he
Yeah.
doesn't take the train. He drives.
I thought
in
he
his
took the
convertible.
train.
And sometimes he stops off to buy her an espresso machine.
Oh,
a
how-
real episode.
Wow. How dare me try to know more. Lord Towers.
For those of you just listening now, you missed it. But our iHeartRadio app has the whole thing. Listen to it on demand anytime. Chelsea has Hollywood Now. It's brought to you this time around by our friends at Planet Fitness.
Bill Hader was once fired from a movie theater job for spoiling the ending of Titanic to a bunch of sorority girls. I guess these girls had been rude to him. They said that he looked like Charles Manson, and he's like, well, you know what? I'm going to ruin the ending for you.
Can you ruin the ending of Titanic for anybody?
Well, I think maybe the fictional part is Rose and Jack, so maybe they didn't know that was going to
Rose
happen.
kills Jack? Right, yeah.
That's
Could
right.
be.
She does.
Kind of.
Ed Sheeran is contemplating a move to country music at some point in his career, but he's got to be really sure of when he wants to make that move, and here's why.
All right.
But I've made country songs in the past that just never come out. I feel like I have to do it properly. And I think when you transition to country, you can't transition back. Once you're there, you're there.
We're getting a lot of mileage out of this Ed Sheeran interview, huh?
Seriously, why is everyone feeling the need to do that?
Yeah,
I don't
why?
know.
Yeah, crossover.
But I also think that he's wrong about that.
He's totally wrong. People are dipping in and out of it, and it's probably annoying to them.
Right.
The country people.
Oh, yeah.
I would think so.
I mean, they may like songs and some artists, but it's like, I think that, whatever genre you like, if people were dipping in and out of it, like.
I think singer-songwriter, I think if somebody that plays the guitar like that, I guess people feel like it's an easy transition to make, but I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a country singer.
I don't know, but he loves Nashville. He's lived there before. I mean, I think he could make it happen. Who would have thought that Post Malone would have dipped into the country?
Nobody.
Oh, and he did a good job with it.
Grey's Anatomy and Euphoria star Eric Dane has revealed that he has ALS. He was McSteamy, if you watch Grey's.
Wow.
That's not good.
I know. He said, I'm grateful to have a loving family by my side as we navigate this next chapter. Now, Rebecca Gayheart, who is his wife, just dismissed their divorce. She filed for divorce years ago.
That's Gehrig's, right?
Yes, it is.
That is god-awful terrible.
Terrible.
He said that he does plan to continue working in Hollywood despite the diagnosis and is actually going to be back on set next week as they begin filming the upcoming season of Euphoria.
Oh, my gosh.
And finally, after 100 years, the Academy Awards going to be recognizing movie stunts. So there have been special Oscars in the past for these categories, but an actual category recognizing the contributions of stuntmen, women, and their designers.
That's fair.
Did not exist until now. So, in theaters this weekend, we have The Amateur with Rami Malek. We saw a little preview of that
so
at
good.
CinemaCon.
Oh, God, that
So
swimming pool
good.
scene with the crack.
Looks really good. And the drive.
Outside from the brand new Fox 2 bird cam. Have you seen this yet? It's very cool. We hooked up a bird feeder to the camera next to the Fox 2 pond. You can watch it live throughout the day on our Fox 2 YouTube channel. If you click on the QR code on your screen right there, it'll take you to it. It might sound silly. Honestly, you say, what are you talking about, Derek? It's very satisfying just to watch the birds come and go. It's something about nature that's just really kind of fun to watch. You see the little there he is. There he is. Hey, guy. Just hanging out, getting something to eat right there. Fox 2 bird cam. Lee Thomas was talking about this earlier today. Just watching it, watching the birds come and go. Hello. Hi. Enjoy your lunch. All right, let's get to your forecast now. Talk about what's going to happen over here the next couple of days for temperatures. Kind of a bit on a wild ride, but notice the numbers here. The lowest one is now 49 degrees. That's early next week on Tuesday. A lot of 50s, a lot of upper 50s and 60s. Not a lot of 40s, right? Yeah, this week was mainly 40s. We spent most of the week with high temperatures near 42s and 43 degrees. Thankfully, we're going to begin warming up as we take a live look off to the north. This is Cross in the Woods, way up north. 44 degrees for our local temperatures. Still some snow on the ground, but they are experiencing melting up in northern Michigan. In fact, a lot of that snowpack will be melting over the course of the weekend. It has hung around over the week, really, because temperatures have been a little chillier off to the north. But now we're all going to be warming up, and we will not likely add too much more snow on top of it. Now this shows where the clouds are. The satellite shows that there's some pretty heavy cloud cover for most of the state of Ohio, all the way down through Toledo, in fact. But we are cloud-free, so the way that this storm setup is, it puts us on the outside of that cloud deck, which is great. That's where we want to be. We want to be in the sunshine, and that's where we will be. Now, if some of these clouds begin to push a little bit further west, we might see some spots along the extreme eastern communities of Wayne County, maybe Macomb County, maybe St. Clair County. May get a little bit more cloud cover as we head through the weekend. I do believe that some of our Ontario viewers that pick up our signal here, they may see some extra clouds for us. I mean, that does include the city of Windsor, but generally, we're going to be rain-free and cloud-free as we head through today and tomorrow, so more sunshine than cloud cover. Sunday, we'll see a few rain showers move through. There's a chance that some of it at times could get a little bit more moderate. That takes you through Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, but spotty rain, kind of come and go with the rain. Not expecting severe weather with that on Sunday. Temperatures for today look like this as we go hour by hour, so let's plan things out. You get to the end of the workday there, 4 or 5 o'clock. Number's going to be near 50 degrees. We'll cool off again tonight, so make no mistake about it. It's going to be chilly as we wake up on Saturday morning, so if you're headed out early Saturday to do some stuff, it's going to be a little bit cooler, but it's going to be sunny, and it's going to warm up as we get to about 54 degrees. Spotty showers Sunday, maybe a rain shower chance on Monday as well. Tuesday, maybe a snowflake mixing in, but it's probably going to be more spotty showers. And then by the end of next week, we're back to the 50s and upper 50s and low 60s.
And so that's where we'll stay, you think, for a little while here.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to stabilize a little bit. I mean, March and April are the 2 months where sometimes cold air winds, sometimes warm air winds. It looks like we're going to get more stable as we head through.
Happy Friday, Detroit. Thanks so much for joining us on this April 11th. I'm your host, Bree Teamer, and you're watching Fox 2 Detroit live at 3.
Live from the Fox 2 newsroom, this is Fox 2 Detroit.
A family in Inkster desperate for help finding a 17-year-old who's been missing for nearly a week now. Both the Inkster and Detroit Police Departments are involved in this case. Fox 2's Scott Wolchak joins us live with a closer look at this situation. Scott, you've been following this story all day. What'd you find out?
Hi, Bree. Yeah, so the girl who's missing, her name is London Thomas. She's a 17-year-old. That's her right there. And she's missing out of Inkster. So her family is organizing a search for her tomorrow at noon. So basically the last thing that people know, she was last seen on Carlisle Street in Inkster, and that was around 9 in the morning on Saturday. So I talked with her dad today. He's pretty upset. Honestly, said wonderful things about his daughter. He hopes that she's alive, and he believes that she was on this street because she was visiting a boyfriend or an older man. Police are looking into this, but they have not confirmed any type of, foul play or anything like that.
It truly is heartbreaking to learn and discover news like this. A 17-year-old girl, getting involved in a situation that maybe wasn't appropriate, but still the fact that she is missing and no one can find her, no one can contact her, that's got to be very hard on the family.
Yes, it is. And, I think that's why they're trying to figure out, how can we find her? So her phone last set off a ping in the area of this elementary school in Westland called Cooper Elementary. That's where they're thinking about doing this search. There's a lot of woods out there, a lot of kind of big empty fields, and there's also river over there, so they're kind of looking over there. They're also hoping to kind of put out this plea, if London is alive and where she is, please, call police, help this poor family out.
Do we know anything about what happened leading up to that last ping that was discovered?
No, like I said, it's just one of those things where she's last seen on this street, phone pinged, then nothing.
Wow. And I know you said that there's speculation about a male that she was meeting up with, maybe an older guy. Where's that coming from?
That's coming from the police and from the family. So, she was meeting up with someone that she knew. Obviously don't really know exactly how far that went or what happened, if they even did meet up. So just a lot left to kind of try and figure out.
All right, Scott, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Well, the father of the Oxford school shooter is now awaiting a decision on whether he'll get a new trial. A jury convicted James Crumbley and his wife Jennifer of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in separate trials. Both were sentenced to up to 15 years in prison. And now James is asking for a new trial. His attorney claims the Oakland County Prosecutor withheld information about immunity agreements made with Oxford school officials who testified during his trial. The prosecutor says James Crumbley has no legal grounds for a new trial. Both sides gave their arguments during a motion hearing in court today. The judge hopes to have a decision within a month. As for the Oxford shooter, he's serving a life sentence for the 2021 attack that left 4 students dead and 7 people hurt. Well, a crash involving Detroit police on the city's west side overnight. This is at Greenfield and the Lodge Freeway. Now you can see the police cruiser and U-Haul van each suffered damage. So far, police have not said who was at fault. We're working to find out if anyone was seriously hurt here. Well, suspect has been charged for the murder of a DoorDash driver in Ferndale. Mamadou Dialli killed last month, just one day before his 27th birthday. He came to the U.S. from Senegal 2 years ago. He got a job delivering food and started sending money home to his family. Back on March 9th, the police say he nearly got into an accident with another driver who was driving recklessly near Woodward and 9 Mile. Someone from the other vehicle then fired 6 shots, killing Diallo.
We are upset. We are very upset. And but there is nothing we can do. So right now we are happy that the investigation is moving and that we are hoping that really justice is going to be served. But we can't replace who he is.
39-year-old Terrell Sims of Oak Park is charged with second-degree murder. He was given no bond. 2 other suspects were arrested after the shooting but have since been released. Well, a Detroit woman is accused of a horrifying act of stabbing her dog and posting the disturbing footage online. Jordan Love is facing multiple criminal charges, including animal torture. Investigators say back on February 7th, Love shared a video of the injured dog, claiming it went after her cat. Police say she then fled the state. Detroit Animal Control forced their way into her home on Manning Street and found the dog suffering from several stab wounds. 3 dogs and 4 cats were recovered from her home, all malnourished. Police tracked Love to South Carolina last month, where she was arrested. She's now being held on a $50,000 bond. The dog is recovering in foster care. A cat who also had a suspected knife wound had a leg amputated and has since been adopted. Well, crooks in Oakland County targeting medical stations. They're after Narcan. Narcan is the drug used to reverse drug overdoses. Thieves stealing it, but why? Now, investigators think they might be reselling it, but it has no value on the black market. Narcan does not even get users high.
If somebody doesn't have direct access to that when they need it, people's lives are at stake. Perhaps somebody needed it for another organization outside of the county or a different area. And if that's the case, we want them to know we got you. Come call us, send me an email, whatever you need. We'll give you as much Narcan as you need for your community.
The Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities stocks these locations. The thefts add up to losses in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, a suspected car thief making a mad dash from police in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The 21-year-old Westland man suspected in the thefts of 8 Corvettes from the back lot of a GM plant. The takedown caught on camera. Here's how the foot chase ended.
Stop running! Stop running! I'm gonna tase you! I'm gonna tase you! Yo, step it up, got one fighter. Thank you. All right, turn around. All right. Take the foot over here. What's over?
I felt that tackle through the screen. He hit the ground so hard and on concrete too. Now, Deontay Walker is accused of trying to bring 3 of the brand new Corvettes back to Michigan. A transport driver reportedly tipped off police because he felt uncomfortable. Walker pled not guilty to multiple charges. Well, the terror trade war between the United States and China, it deepens as China announces retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports. Beijing raising its tariffs on American products to 125% in the latest escalation. The U.S. is also levying a 125% tariff on Chinese goods. China says it's willing to fight to the end on tariffs and has been reaching out to other countries attempted to strike deals of its own. China's new tariffs on the U.S. go into effect tomorrow. Meanwhile, United Auto Workers are supporting President Trump's tariff plan, hoping it will lead to more jobs and better job security. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch breaks down some of the numbers.
UAW President Shawn Fain has been known to openly criticize President Donald Trump. Well, last night he took to live stream to talk about the 25% tariffs that have been imposed by the Trump administration and actually did the opposite. He told UAW membership that he thinks that these tariffs could help and that the automakers should be able to absorb the costs associated with this. Now, according to the Center for Automotive Research, those 25% tariffs equal about $41.9 billion in costs for the big 3. We're, of course, talking about General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, and that nearly 7 million vehicles would be affected by the tariffs. Now, Shawn Fain, as you know, often took to social media during UAW's historic strike back in 2023 to update his membership. Well, he did that again last night, again saying that he doesn't support random and reckless tariffs, but he does think that this one could help the auto industry and that it could help revitalize it. Here's more from his nearly hour-long address last night.
The auto tariffs are a first step in ending the free trade disaster. And, with things that are going on with labor and things like that, we don't need to trust Donald Trump or any politician to fix it for us. But I want to be clear about this. The Trump administration is the first administration in my lifetime that's been willing to do something about this broken free trade system. Tariffs are the first step. But we need to put out our vision for an auto industry that doesn't leave behind working class people.
Now, Fain's hour-long address came a week after those tariffs went into effect. And according to the Anderson Economic Group, UAW members could see their profit-sharing checks drop by up to $4,000 as a result. Reporting from Southfield, I'm Robin Murdoch, Fox 2 News.
Investigators are trying to figure out what caused the helicopter to fall apart mid-flight and plunge into the Hudson River. That and so much more when Fox 2 Detroit Live returns. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live. Time now is 3:14, giving you a live look out at our bird cam right outside our Fox 2 studios. As you can see, there might not be too much food left in there for the birdies.
Feed the birdie.
They might have just picking at it all day. You know, Fridays are a little bit more chill around here. Maybe somebody forgot to fill it. Maybe that's what it was. 51 degrees is the temperature outside. Well, a little bit of breaking news out of Florida. 3 people are dead after a small plane crashes in the southern part of the state. The crash happening just after 10 o'clock this morning in Boca Raton near the city's airport. The one person on the ground was also hurt when the crash pushed his car into a tree. That person is expected to survive. The FAA says the plane was headed to Tallahassee. Early reports say the pilot encountered some sort of mechanical issue. Very unfortunate here. And you know, that helicopter tour in New York that turned deadly yesterday, there's a little bit of an update on that. After the chopper broke apart and fell from the sky, dive teams are on scene working to recover the wreckage. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy has more from Jersey.
Investigators are back at the scene of a deadly helicopter crash in the Hudson River. that left 6 people dead, the pilot and a family of Spanish tourists. We will warn you, the video you're about to see is disturbing. It shows the helicopter plummeting into the water without the tail or main rotor. Authorities are now working to find out why.
The recovery of the wreckage and then the piecing back together of those component parts will really give them some good understanding as to whether or not there was a mechanical malfunction or failure.
According to the Associated Press, the victims include Siemens executive Agustin Escobar, his wife Marseille, and their 3 young children. The flight path shows their helicopter took off from downtown Manhattan Thursday afternoon. It traveled north before turning around just past the George Washington Bridge and then crashed while traveling south on its way back.
Just the velocity that it smashed into the water, I was not feeling confident that people were going to be able to survive that.
Witnesses say the chopper appeared to break apart in midair before landing upside down. Last night, investigators used a crane on a boat to remove the fuselage. Dive teams are back in the water today looking for more parts.
When you see something like this, you always believe it's surreal. We have to, partner with our federal, state, and city agencies to determine what happened and do everything possible to prevent it from happening again.
The NTSB is leading this investigation with support from the FAA as well as state and local authorities. In Jersey City, Nate Foy, Fox News.
All right, well, it is Friday. That means the weekend is here. But how is the weather going to treat our weekend for the next 2 days, 3 days? Here's Derek Evra.
Hello, everybody. Things are going to start getting better around here, which is nice after dealing with some pretty chilly conditions over the course of the last week. We're finally beginning to warm up just a little bit, and we're going to continue to build on this trend. Now, yes, there will be a few dips before or as we continue to make that climb, but the important part is we are making the climb. Let's talk about temperatures over the next 10 days. The average about 57 degrees this time of the year. We are expecting to climb nearer that as we head into the weekend. You see Saturday and Sunday right there in the mid-50s. Early next week, we've got 65 degrees. Yes, there's a dip on Tuesday, but then the overall trend after that is going to be continuing to track up and up and up. We'll start with a live look out here at Indian River off to the north, where they still have some snow on the ground after a very wintry week in northern Michigan over the last 7 to 10 days, including a historic ice storm. Things are starting to improve a bit weather-wise up there as they improve weather-wise down here. So satellite radar, interesting little note here. Let me zoom the map out. I want to show you where the really heavy and thick cloud cover is, because right here, extending through parts of Ontario, through Ohio and Indiana, you've got real thick cloud cover right in this area, and then clearer skies over top of us. So we at this moment are clear, and we are anticipating that we will stay clear, but there is a chance that some of those clouds could get, over the course of the weekend, pretty close to areas in St. Clair County, maybe into areas around Port Huron, Windsor perhaps. Even downtown Detroit may experience some of that cloud creep as it moves a bit farther to the west. So if that happens, we might transition a little bit cloudier, but overall, I think for today and for Saturday, we're going to be more on the sunny side. Now, Sunday comes with a chance for some spotty rain showers as you take a look at a few different waves. This is not like wash out your weekend kind of weather, but it is going to be a few passing rain showers as we head through the weekend. Here's your temperatures outside, numbers that range from about 45 to 50. We will likely get up to that 50-degree threshold, at least briefly, over the next couple of hours, and then we start to cool off as we head overnight. It's expected to get a little chilly out there tonight. 51 degrees, clouds decrease, sunshine, beautiful looking day out there today, 32. That's our overnight low, so that does hover right near freezing. Let's check our 7-day forecast with those temperatures getting better, but there is some rain to discuss. You'll see some rain showers Sunday, another chance on Monday, Tuesday. Some flakes could be mixing in. Tuesday, the coldest day before we start warming right back up once again.
And you heard Derek, there's going to be a little bit of rain in the forecast, so you're definitely going to want to make sure that you have this app downloaded on your phone, because you know how Michigan can be super unpredictable when it comes to the weather. It's the Fox 2 weather app, and it's free right on your phone. Just go to the App Store or the Google Play Store if you have Android and download it. Well, the Detroit Zoo celebrating the earth this weekend with its annual Green Fest. It features food trucks and eco-friendly marketplace and a bunch of hands-on activities. And you can get in for free. All you have to do is participate in e-recycling, bringing electronics to the zoo's parking lot on 10 Mile. Things like phones, TVs, computers, tablets, all of that stuff. If you bring enough to fill a bucket, it's worth a ticket or even two. Otherwise, it's just a good chance to get rid of all that clutter in an environmentally responsible way. The e-recycling runs from 9 a.m. to noon tomorrow and Sunday. You know, we got to fill up a bucket with the electronics. That sounds like a lot. I have that many. That sounds like a lot. What size bucket are we talking about? All right, well, today is National Pet Day, if you didn't know. A new study finds owning a pet can make you feel about as good as getting a $90,000 raise. I don't know about that. Now, according to data, simply petting your pet, it can lower stress, which can positively impact things like blood pressure and depression. The benefits of pet ownership can also be just as satisfying as getting married. I don't know about that one either. Now, the study, all of this is published in the journal Social Indicators Research. I feel like petting my pet, it makes her less stressed and depressed, more than it makes me less stressed and depressed. She'll get a tummy rub. Yeah, she gets a tummy rub at everything. All right, moving on. Our friends from Verse is Everybody. We know them. Well, Detroit Public Schools Community District Foundation is collaborating with them. Now, why it's all happening and how you can help out, up next. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live. A nonprofit dedicated to combating human trafficking and domestic violence is marking 45 years of service in our community. They're hosting a big gala called Stepping Out with the Stars. Fox 2's Erica Francis will serve as an MC, and she has all the details.
Super fun event happening April the 25th. We are talking about dancing and raising money for just an incredible nonprofit. We're talking about Turning Point. I've got the CEO with me right now, Charmin. Thank you so much for being with us. Tell everybody watching what Turning Point does on a day-to-day basis.
Well, Turning Point is a comprehensive service program in Macomb County that provides services to survivors of domestic violence, sexual violence, and human trafficking. We have a 24-hour hotline, 52-bed shelter. We provide counseling, and I think also very importantly, we provide the forensic nurse examiners program. So if somebody is sexually assaulted, they would call our hotline. They would be examined by a forensic nurse, and advocate specialist would be there as well. And we're collecting evidence, and I think even more important than collecting the evidence, we're providing that emotional support, and we are providing preventative medications that are so important to survivors.
So important, and this all takes a lot of money. So this upcoming gala that you're having, which I'm told is such a fun time, it's really important to raise those funds. Talk to me a little bit more about the gala.
So the gala this is our 9th year.
Wow.
And we usually have over 600 people. So please hurry up and get your tickets because we will start to sell out pretty soon. But we have 6 dancers that have been training with professionals at our Arthur Murray Studios, one in Shelby Township, the other in Royal Oak. They've been practicing for months now, and so they'll be out there doing their routine for us. People will be voting. You can vote online. You can vote at the event. And then during that course of that evening, our guests will also be able to dance because we'll have a DJ. We have an open bar. We'll have raffles. I mean, it's just a very exciting and fun evening. And all really to support domestic violence and sexual violence and to increase the awareness of the prevalence of sexual assault.
I also have Tam here, and you were a dancer last year, correct me if I'm wrong, and then you're judging this year. How excited are you?
Very excited because I get to give back some of that positive energy that was given to me last year.
Yeah, and what was it like dancing at such an awesome charity event that's giving back to so many people?
It was really, really fun. I was happy to do it. I went first even last year, so I got to set a fun, high tone for the event and jump off the in-room voting, so that was great. It was amazing.
Charmin, how do people get tickets for this event?
Well, they can go on our website, which is turningpointmacomb.org. Tickets are still available, but as I said earlier, they are going quickly. So please come buy tickets and come support us.
I love it. All for Turning Point. We'll have more information for you on our website, fox2detroit.com. In Mount Clemens, Erica Francis, Fox 2 News.
From Detroit Public School Community District Foundation are here. They have a new collab with the popular Detroit brand, Detroit versus Everybody. And we have Carrie Mitchell, President and CEO of DPSCD Foundation, to tell us more about this collaboration. Carrie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about this. We know Detroit versus Everybody. They're everywhere. They're not even in Detroit anymore. They're all across the country.
Expanding.
Who came up with this collaboration?
You know what? It was a collaborative approach that's been in the making for a couple of years now. And what's so exciting is that we have an event that's coming up too. And so it blended well with the partnership coming. And they had a few at some select schools, but it just ballooned when we said it would be great and a great opportunity for all the schools to be properly represented. And then from there, we have all the high schools, open and closed. So your closed schools like Murray Wright is there. Cooley High School is there. And of course, the staples like the other schools like Osborne, King High School, of course, I'm biased. That's where I graduated from. But all of the selections are there. And it's really just a way for people to show just popular camaraderie and proud that they are a DPSCD graduate. And it gives them a reason to come back and to support our current students.
Carrie, what do you think this means for Detroit students, whether they're alums, current students, prospective students maybe? What do you think it means for them to have their school on apparel like this?
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for them to see others that went through the same doors as they have be so successful and come back and help that in this way. And so it's intentional for us to always want our alumni to come back and see how they can support our current students. I know when people came back to help me, it was very influential in who I became today. And so this is always going to be a full circle moment. And what I appreciated most about Tommy and Sean approach to this collaboration is that it's a fundraising component to it. And so our goal is to give back. Well, their goal is to give the foundation $250,000.
Wow.
So we really need we really need to have people go in and buy some shirts just so it can help, because we're doing so many great things for our students, between going out of the country on field trips, by going on college tours, even making sure that our students are going into dual enrollment, which allows them to leave high school with an associate's degree and a high school diploma at the same time. And so this can go so many different ways and so many different opportunities for our current students.
So if we aren't a part of any of the Detroit schools, like myself, which hoodie should we get?
Just get the DPSCD versus everybody, because at the end of the day, we are looking for people to really support public education in Detroit, and that this is a popular way to do it.
So you said that there's a fundraising component to all of this. Tell us a little bit more about what the proceeds go to and what they benefit.
So it's going to support our Tyrone E. Winfrey Hall of Fame Alumni Gala that's taking place on May 3rd at Cass Technical High School. And so this is our fundraising event that encourages alumni or those that support public education in Detroit DPSCD students to come back and see everything that we've been doing to ensure our students are prepared for college or career ready by the time they leave our collegiate careers. So I'm very excited for this event. It's our third installment of it, and it's just kind of ballooned where people are coming back to say, I went to Osborne, I went to Kettering, I went to King, but we all are coming back to ensure that our students are properly represented.
You know, I'm feeling a little FOMO here because our planning editor, Al Johnson, he had one on the other day. He had the Mumford versus everybody on. I'm like, what?
Just put on the DPSCD one. Yes, yes. And you're still a part of it. And again, you're still giving back to our students, which is the most important thing about this collaboration.
And how do we buy this? Is this only for a limited amount of time?
So it's not a limited amount of time, but just go to versuseverybody.com. It's right there. Also go to dpscdfoundation.org to know more about our foundation and what we're doing. But those are ways that people can continue to be supportive of us.
Okay, Carrie, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about this. This is super cool, and I know that it's going to be a huge success.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Still have this time change every 6 months is due to the federal government's inability.
Should it stay or should it go? Politicians in Washington are tackling the daylight saving issue. The great time change debate up next. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live, giving you a live look outside. Look at that water, how it's glistening right now. The sun is definitely out at 3:36 on this beautiful Friday afternoon. The flag is waving, and it's over 50 degrees outside. What more could we want? Well, in Washington, senators are working around the clock on the issue of whether to end the twice-a-year time changes to account for the shifting seasons. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from Washington.
People across our country are tired of the constant cycle of falling back and springing forward.
Congress is watching the clock and trying to decide if it should be changed. The Senate Commerce Committee held a hearing Thursday to discuss possible adjustments to daylight saving time, or just getting rid of it altogether. Lawmakers from both parties pointed out evolving technology makes changing the clocks twice a year more of an annoyance than a benefit.
American households have electricity now. We also have self-driving cars, computers, and cell phones.
There are also health considerations, including the fact that 60% of Americans don't get enough sleep, and changing to a more stable daylight schedule could help. But a big sticking point remains. Should we have more daylight in the morning or late afternoon?
The majority of Americans do consistently want to lock the clock, but it has been more inconsistent about how to ditch the switch.
The only reason we still have this time change every 6 months is due to the federal government's inability to decide.
Some lawmakers also question the need for any change, pointing out personal habits have shifted since 1918 when daylight saving time was first introduced.
Many people still sleep through the morning light. Does that mean that light is being wasted?
Light helps us get up. Most people will wake up naturally after light.
A bill to repeal daylight saving time has been introduced, but there's no word yet on when it will come up for a vote. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox 2 News.
Well, what do you think we should do?
Crack me up.
What do you think we should do? Send us a tweet using hashtag Fox2 Detroit Live so we can read it. But in the meantime, since you guys aren't doing it, we're going to see what everybody else is saying online. Let's see what we got here. So, here we go. Permanent daylight savings time means no sleep for you. I don't know about that one. I don't know. I'm getting my sleep regardless. All right, what else we got here? Just quit changing it. I definitely agree with this one. Let's just decide on something and let's stick with it. We don't have to go back and forth about it. Come on, you're messing things up. All right, what did, okay, so this is from our president. This was tweeted on Truth Social, but it looks like it's coming over to X. It says the House and Senate should push hard for more daylight at the end of the day. Very popular, and most importantly, no more changing of the clocks. A big inconvenience, and for our government, a very costly event. I will say changing the clocks is one of the most annoying parts. I mean, for the most part, our phones do it, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're in the car, whatnot, you're going to have to change it. I had to do that. I actually just changed the time in my car last week. What's this guy saying? He says, just keep it on standard time. So one more time change in the fall, then leave it there. Okay. I could see that one. I could see that one. But one thing that I do think that we should get rid of is time zones. You know what I mean? Like, why do we need different time zones? Why do we need that?
Because the Earth is moving around the sun.
Whatever. All right, moving on here. What is this? This is a meme. Why not permanent standard time? A little meme action there. Okay. All right. Well, if you guys want to see your tweets up here, all you have to do is hashtag us Fox2 Detroit Live, and your tweets will pop up right here on this screen, and we will show them in front of everyone. Read along with you. I do want to click on this one. It has never made a bit of sense. The days getting shorter causes all sorts of problems. Agreed. Agreed, Sharon. All righty. Well, have you ever looked in the mirror at work and wondered, did I leave the house like this? According to a new trend, you didn't, and the office air phenomenon is to blame. Fox News correspondent Alexis McAdams tells you why.
As hours in the office tick by, workers' looks deteriorate according to a new TikTok trend.
I'll do my hair, I'll do my makeup, I will put on a nice outfit, and I always feel like by the end of the day, it's like I had not done any of those things. My makeup is almost completely gone, my hair has fallen, and I just generally feel very uncomfortable and gross.
Accountant Hope Doherty is not alone. Employees across the country blaming the office air phenomenon for drying out their skin, making their hair frizz up, and melting off their makeup long before 5 o'clock hits. The theories pointing to extreme heating and air conditioning and a lack of fresh air.
Air may be recycled, recirculated, so the air tends to be very dry, so not a lot of moisture in the air, not a lot of humidity.
Add in fluorescent lighting.
Keep in mind that if you're taking a look in the mirror trying to do selfies at work, the lighting is not great. So when you have artificial light, really harsh fluorescent lightings, it's going to look like you have more of a washed out or pale appearance.
Office air not only impacts how workers look and feel, some say can also affect their performance.
If you don't feel good, you are not as focused because your mind is being diverted to think about how gross you feel. You are not as confident, and that is very important in a workplace, especially for women.
Dermatologist Susan Masick says while the air might be dry, it's not toxic, adding there are additional factors to consider, including long hours, blue light from your computer, and stress.
Stress can make a huge impact when it comes to your skin, how you're feeling, and it can be work stress, it can be work-life balance stress, it can be lots of different stressors. And then when you're stressed, the increased cortisol levels, you might find that your regular skin conditions, whether you have eczema or psoriasis, are much, much worse.
But if you're experiencing symptoms of office air, Dr. Masick says it can be prevented with a simple skincare regimen.
Typically, you want people to have a good moisturizer. It helps replenish the moisture, hydrate the skin. You want to make sure that you're using a daily sunscreen because you can have ultraviolet light exposure, but also the high energy visible light, which can be associated with fluorescent lighting, computer screens.
So you have to go to work, but what can you do when you get there to prevent this? Well, doctors say stay hydrated, drink plenty of water, avoid too much caffeine and energy drinks, and take a walk. Reporting in New York, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
Well, millions of people drink coffee every day, but is it possible to drink too much of it? Julia Zambano, a registered dietitian at the Cleveland Clinic, says you can find that answered out by analyzing your caffeine intake. Zambano says the Federal Drug and Food Administration FDA guidelines, they say to keep caffeine intake under 400 milligrams a day. She says an average 8-ounce cup of coffee equates to around 100 milligrams, meaning a person can drink 4 to 5 cups a day if they don't indulge in other caffeine sources like soda or energy drink. Zipano says drinking too much caffeine can cause headaches, increase heart rates, and make you feel jittery or anxious. She advises people to cut back on caffeine intake slowly and to check out other options like hot chocolate or tea with low caffeine content. Or do what I do, get you a little bit of matcha. It's the best. It's a tea, technically, but it's really good. And you make it with milk, throw a little simple syrup in there, blend it all up, little cold foam on top. So good. So good. All right, well, 3:44 is the time right now. 51 degrees is the temperature. And Derek Kevra is going to tell us what the rest of our weekend is looking like.
Hello, everybody. Things are going to start getting better around here, which is nice after dealing with some pretty chilly conditions over the course of the last week. We're finally beginning to warm up just a little bit, and we're going to continue to build on this trend. Now, yes, there will be a few dips before or as we continue to make that climb, but the important part is we are making the climb. Let's talk about temperatures over the next 10 days. The average about 57 degrees this time of the year. We are expecting to climb nearer that as we head into the weekend. You see Saturday and Sunday right there in the mid-50s. Early next week, we've got 65 degrees. Yes, there's a dip on Tuesday, but then the overall trend after that is going to be continuing to track up and up and up. We'll start with a live look out here at Indian River off to the north, where they still have some snow on the ground after a very wintry week in northern Michigan over the last 7 to 10 days, including a historic ice storm. things are starting to improve a bit weather-wise up there as they improve weather-wise down here. So satellite radar, interesting little note here. Let me zoom the map out. I want to show you where the really heavy and thick cloud cover is, because right here, extending through parts of Ontario, through Ohio and Indiana, you've got real thick cloud cover right in this area, and then clearer skies over top of us. So we at this moment are clear, and we are anticipating that we will stay clear, but there is a chance that some of those clouds could get, over the course of the weekend, pretty close to areas in St. Clair County, maybe into areas around Port Huron, Windsor perhaps. Even downtown Detroit may experience some of that cloud creep as it moves a bit farther to the west. So if that happens, we might transition a little bit cloudier, but overall, I think for today and for Saturday, we're going to be more on the sunny side. Now, Sunday comes with a chance for some spotty rain showers as you take a look at a few different waves. This is not like wash out your weekend kind of weather, but it is going to be a few passing rain showers as we head through the weekend. Here's your temperatures outside, numbers that range from about 45 to 50. We will likely get up to that 50-degree threshold, at least briefly, over the next couple of hours, and then we start to cool off as we head overnight. It's expected to get a little chilly out there tonight. 51 degrees, clouds decrease, sunshine, beautiful looking day out there today, 32. That's our overnight low, so that does hover right near freezing. Let's check our 7-day forecast with those temperatures getting better, but there is some rain to discuss. You'll see some rain showers Sunday, another chance on Monday, Tuesday. Some flakes could be mixing in. Tuesday, the coldest day before we start warming right back up once again.
All right, and be sure to stick with Fox 2 for continuing coverage. We know it's unpredictable. Tom is all over here mad about the snowflakes. But this is absolutely free in the App Store and on Google Play. Well, the NBA and NHL playoffs are getting close. The Pistons are in and looking to keep up the momentum. The Wings were on the bubble. So where do things stand today? That's next with Woody Woodruff. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit's Live. I'm your host, Bree Teamer. Well, in college hockey, A thrilling finish in last night's Frozen Four matchup between Western Michigan and Denver. A spot in the national championship was at stake, and here's how it ended in double overtime.
Michaels for the win! He scored! Owen Michaels is the hero for Western Michigan.
The kid from Northville getting it done for Western. Owen Michaels' second goal of the game, giving the Broncos the 3-2 victory in double overtime and punching Western's ticket for the Frozen Four final, where they'll face either Boston University or Penn State in the national championship game on Saturday. And I have no idea why I was telling you about that, because this guy should have been telling you all about that.
Hey, look, I'll tell you right now, I can add something to that if you'd like.
Go ahead.
All right. It's going to be Western taking on Boston University. That's how it's going to go in the final coming up on Saturday. So, yeah, this is a fantastic thing for Western.
Yeah.
I mean, for the first time in school history, they get their team into the Frozen Four, and look at where they are. They are in the championship game. So good luck to the Broncos, and we'll see if they can bring home some hardware after Saturday.
Yeah, you gotta love unexpected moments like that.
Oh, yes, no doubt, no doubt.
So let's talk about our Detroit's professional sports teams. Let me slow it down a little bit. I'm getting too excited because I'm off in about 5 minutes.
No, it's easy. It's easy to get excited because let's start with the Pistons, okay?
Yep.
This team is awesome right now. They take on the Milwaukee Bucks, okay, the final 2 games of the season. If the Pistons sweep these 2 games, they will move into the 5th spot in the East, and then that'll set them up against number 4 Indiana. If they split or do anything like that, then they're locked into the 6th spot where they will handle the New York Knicks, okay? And right now, a lot of people are saying, bring on the Knicks. We are not afraid of the Knicks, and I kind of like that talk. It's got me all pumped up when I'm talking about the Pistons because it's been a while since Detroit has been back in the postseason. And to see this going on, and if the Pistons can get the Knicks, then they'll be on the main stage at Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball, everybody learning about Cade Cunningham, everybody finding out about J.B. Bickerstaff. Exactly. You know what? This could be one of those times where a guy gets a name, a single name, like Kobe or LeBron or Cade. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Oh, boy.
Michael Jordan doesn't have a single name.
One more other thing. Playoff tickets go on sale on Sunday, okay? Starting at 10 a.m., you go to all the local outlets if you want to get one, or Pistons.com or something like that. But I expect I almost said the Palace. Did you hear me? Oh, my goodness. I almost said the Palace. I expect
That's how long it's been.
Exactly. I expect the Little Caesars Arena to be rocking once the Pistons are in the playoffs.
So you said Cade Cunningham is on his way to Cade.
Just Cade. That's it.
Just Cade.
Exactly.
And you said, like the greats. But Michael Jordan is... we call him Michael Jordan.
That's all you got to do is call him Jordan.
But there's so many different Jordans.
No.
There's only one LeBron, one Kobe.
As far as sneakers go, there may be a lot of Jordans. But there's only one Jordan, and it's MJ, Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like Dr. J. There's only one of him.
Yep. And just like there's only one Woody.
Yes.
One Bree.
Exactly.
One Tom.
You know what there isn't, though? You know what there isn't, though? There isn't a playoff spot in the cards for the Red Wings. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, it is still mathematically possible for the team to get into the playoffs, but come on. They lost against Montreal. That was a game that they were supposed to win. They had to win. They didn't win. Now they've lost 2 straight, and they have, 3 games left, 2 games left.
What is that math?
Right now, the magic number for Detroit, or it would be 2. Because a combination of a Detroit loss or a Montreal win puts Montreal further away and seals it for them, and eliminates Detroit and seals it for the Red Wings. So I expect, the Red Wings going against another playoff team tonight in Tampa Bay. It's going to be a tough uphill climb. So, I think tonight really may seal it for the Red Wings. Unless they can, step up. We've seen crazier things before. We saw the Tigers with a terrible chance last year. All of a sudden get into the playoffs and win a series. So, stranger things have happened. But I'm not looking forward to it. I think the Red Wings are on life support.
Let's talk about the Tigers just a little bit here. They made us so proud against the Yankees. right?
Yeah, taking 2 out of 3 is always good, especially
Yeah.
against the Yankees.
Yeah.
That was great. They had a 5-game win streak, finished the homestand 5-1. Now they're in Minnesota tonight for the start of a weekend series against the Twins. So, let's keep it going. We saw good pitching performances. We've seen good hitting performances. And I expect that to continue, especially from the guys like Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green. And, the Kerry Carpenter has also stepped up. So there's been a lot of positives for the Tigers so far this year.
A lot of positive for Detroit sports.
Yes,
I got to say.
The Red Wings, I guess.
Well,
they're doing all right, though.
They still have a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
There you
Love
go.
it. Thanks, Woody.
Sure.
Well, Netflix is rolling the dice on a popular board game. Hopefully, players still earn $200 each time they pass go. The streaming service is transforming Monopoly into a real-life social experiment competition. Contestants will be forced to form alliances and betray their competitors, quote, walking the line between capitalism and chaos. It's still not clear if contestants will get to buy property and go directly to jail. That'd be very extreme, and I hope that they wouldn't have to go directly to jail. But buying property, I could see that. I love that. All right, well, that is gonna do it for me.
Bree is out of here.
Happy Friday. And I will see you on Monday. Rob Wolchuk's up next.
Thanks for joining us. It's Friday, April 11th. I'm your host, Rob Wolchuk, and you're watching Fox 2 Detroit live at 4.
Live from the Fox 2 newsroom, this is Fox 2 Detroit.
More than 3 years after a pregnant woman was set on fire, the man accused in the case has been sentenced. Yvonne Marsh was given a 10 to 20-year sentence on controlled substance charges and 5 years on a felony firearms charge with some credit for time served. Other charges in this case were dropped as part of an agreement. This all stems from an incident in January of 2022. Police said Marsh got into an argument with his girlfriend at their home off Packard and Outer Drive. At some point, she was set on fire, then left in a basement for days. She was 6.5 months pregnant with twins at the time and left with third-degree burns on 60% of her body. Family says that woman died within the last year as a result of her injuries, and that one of the babies also didn't survive. Today, her teenage daughter spoke about the loss to the court.
Didn't just commit a crime, he tore apart a family. He took my mother's life in a way so brutal, so heartless, that no sentence could ever truly bring justice. In 2022, when I was just 15, this man set my mother on fire while she was pregnant with his 2 unborn children. She fought for her life, but the damage was already done. Just over 8 months ago, she passed away. It has been 258 days since I lost my mother, since sisters and brothers have lost their sister, since nieces and nephews have lost their aunt, and since a mother and father have lost their daughter. But the truth is, Devon started taking from us long before she died. He didn't just isolate her, he abused her, he broke her down mentally, emotionally, and physically. He kept her away from me as well as my family and made sure we missed out on time we will never get back. There was one day I'll never forget. I called my mom to ask if we could go to the mall together. She said she'd call me back. Hours later, she called crying. She said she couldn't make it today. I didn't understand at the time. It wasn't until a year later that I found out it was because he fractured her arm. That moment sticks with me because it's just one of many that was stolen, not just from her, but from me too. On top of everything, my mom struggled with addiction while I was growing up. Because of that, I didn't get much of a childhood with her. But even through all of it, I never gave up on the idea that one day we would have a relationship I've always wanted. Now I'll never get that chance. Because of Devon, I don't have happy memories with her, no real comfort, no milestones, only the image of her in pain, in a hospital bed, relearning how to walk, helping her to walk to the bathroom, cleaning up her hospital room. Instead of spending my childhood as a child and making loving memories with my mom, I had to be the adult and take care of her. Since losing her, I've been struggling mentally, emotionally, and physically. I've lost all motivation. I'm not on track to graduate. I stopped playing sports I loved and quit my job. There are days I can't even eat or sleep. Even doing the simplest things can break me down because everything reminds me of her and what I've lost and never will have. She won't be there to see me when I turn 18 next month. She won't be in the crowd at my graduation. She won't be at my wedding. He didn't just take her life. He took away every moment we were supposed to have. And now every big thing that happens in my life, I'll be reminded that I could never run to my mom and celebrate with her or be comforted by her. He broke something in me, in my family, and in the future that we all should have had. And for that, he must be held accountable, not just for the violence, but for the lifetime of pain he's left behind.
Police say at first the woman was afraid to report what happened out of fear of retaliation, and that she only opened up later after a tipster reported the crime and she felt safe talking. If you or someone needs help, the Detroit Police Victims Assistance Program is available 24/7 at the number on your screen, 313-833-1660. A wild story out of St. Clair Shores, a man in custody after a car chase and a crash. Sources tell us this started as a chase in Grosse Pointe Shores, though it's not clear what sparked it. We're told the suspect hit a woman in a car, ran off after the crash, and was found hiding behind a garage on Dornia Street. Sources tell Fox 2 he claims to have run off for fun and had to have been laughing the whole time. Okay? We'll continue to follow this story and pass along updates as we get them. The father of the Oxford school shooter is now awaiting a decision on whether he'll get a new trial. A jury convicted James Crumbley and his wife, Jennifer, of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in separate trials. Both were sentenced up to 15 years in prison. And now James is asking for a new trial. His attorney claims the Oakland County Prosecutor withheld information about immunity agreements made with the Oxford school officials who testified during his trial. The prosecutor says James Crumbley has no legal grounds for a new trial. Both sides gave their arguments during a motion hearing in court today. The judge hopes to have a decision within a month. As for the Oxford shooter, he's serving a life sentence for the 2021 attack that left 4 students dead and 7 people hurt. A car crash involving Detroit police on the city's west side overnight. This is at Greenfield and the Lodge Freeway. You could see the police cruiser and a U-Haul van each suffered some damage. So far, police have not said who was at fault. We're working to find out if anyone was seriously hurt. A suspect has been charged for the murder of a DoorDash driver in Ferndale. Mamadou Diallo, killed last month, just one day before his 27th birthday. He came to the U.S. from Senegal 2 years ago, got a job delivering food, and started sending money home to his family. Back on March 9th, police say he nearly got into an accident with another driver who was driving recklessly near Woodward and 9 Mile. Someone from the other vehicle then fired 6 shots, killing Diallo.
We are upset. We are very upset. And but there is nothing we can do. So right now we are happy that the investigation is moving and that we are hoping that justice is going to be served. But we can't replace who he is.
39-year-old Terrell Sims of Oak Park is charged with second-degree murder. He was given no bond. 2 other suspects were arrested after the shooting, but have since been released. A Detroit woman is accused of a horrifying act of stabbing her dog and posting the disturbing footage online. Jordan Love is facing multiple charges, including animal torture. Investigators say back on February 7th, Love shared the video of the injured dog, claiming it went after her cat. Police say she then fled the state. Detroit Animal Control forced their way into the home on Manning Street and found the dog suffering from several stab wounds. 3 dogs and 4 cats were recovered from the home, all malnourished. Police tracked Love to South Carolina last month, where she was arrested. She's now being held on $50,000 bond. The dog is recovering in foster care. A cat, who was also suspected of a knife wound, had a leg amputated and has since been adopted. Crooks in Oakland County targeting medical stations. They're after Narcan. Narcan is used to reverse drug overdoses. Thieves stealing it, but why? Investigators think they may be reselling it, but it has no real value on the black market. Narcan does not get users high.
If somebody doesn't have direct access to that when they need it, people's lives are at stake. Perhaps somebody needed it for another organization outside of the county or a different area. And if that's the case, we want them to know we got you. Come call us, send me an email, whatever you need. We'll give you as much Narcan as you need for your community.
The Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities stocks these locations. The thefts add up to losses in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. China is striking back against U.S. tariffs, hiking their own levies against American goods by more than 40%. People around the world are now watching to see how the White House and markets are reacting and what it all means for consumers. Fox's Carolyn Shively reports from Washington.
Wall Street opening Friday following a wild week with more uncertainty ahead. On Saturday, China's new tariffs on American goods climbed from an already staggering 84% to 125%.
Well, we'll see what happens with China. We would love to be able to work a deal.
China retaliation comes after President Trump raised tariffs on their goods to 145% on Thursday, a move China has called economic bullying. But administration officials say it's a way to rebalance America's $295 billion trade deficit with the communist country.
We do import a lot from China, and that actually, to me, underscores the urgency of the situation. We've become so dependent on this.
On Wednesday, President Trump put a 90-day pause on his reciprocal tariffs against dozens of other countries, but left in place a 10% blanket tariff.
A 10% increase doesn't necessarily mean for consumers a 10% increase in the prices, but by and large, this is what we can expect to happen, that things will get more expensive.
Chinese officials say they don't need to make any more tariff hikes because Saturday's increase will already make American products so expensive in China that no one will buy them. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Coming up next on Fox 2 Detroit Live, how Congress is keeping an eye on the clock and discussing possible adjustments to daylight savings time. We'll be right back. And we're taking a live look at the Bayview Yacht Club, where our engineer Tom has his yacht. He's getting ready for boating season.
Put it in the water next month.
Yeah, Stephanie Mead is going to go out with him on the boat and hang out. And I never get invited. Tom invites all of the other anchor people and TV people, but yeah, I never get.
Behind us.
So anyways, but it looks pretty nice out there. Spring is coming. We'll have weather coming up. But first, I got to tell you about in Washington, senators are working around the clock on the issue of whether to end the twice-a-year time changes to account for the shifting seasons. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from Washington.
People across our country are tired of the constant cycle of falling back and springing forward.
Congress is watching the clock and trying to decide if it should be changed. The Senate Commerce Committee held a hearing Thursday to discuss possible adjustments to daylight saving time, or just getting rid of it altogether. Lawmakers from both parties pointed out evolving technology makes changing the clocks twice a year more of an annoyance than a benefit.
American households have electricity now. We also have self-driving cars, computers, and cell phones.
There are also health considerations, including the fact that 60% of Americans don't get enough sleep, and changing to a more stable daylight schedule could help. But a big sticking point remains. Should we have more daylight in the morning or late afternoon?
The majority of Americans do consistently want to lock the clock, but it has been more inconsistent about how to ditch the switch.
The only reason we still have this time change every 6 months is due to the federal government's inability to decide.
Some lawmakers also question the need for any change, pointing out personal habits have shifted since 1918 when daylight saving time was first introduced.
Many people still sleep through the morning light. Does that mean that light is being wasted?
Light helps us get up. Most people will wake up naturally after light.
A bill to repeal daylight saving time has been introduced, but there's no word yet on when it will come up for a vote. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox 2 News.
I am a fan of daylight savings time, and I don't want it to change. So that's my opinion. Let's hear what Stephanie Mead's opinion is. Stephanie, what do you think? I like daylight savings time. I like Michigan. One of the good things about Michigan is that in the summertime, it stays light until like 10 o'clock. So I can get home at 7 o'clock. I can
It's still pretty bright. You can do whatever you
jump
want.
in my pool, take my dog for a walk.
You have a pool?
Did
you know he had a pool?
I didn't.
Wow.
I do have a pool.
I was about to say, you know what? You don't invite us to your pool.
I do have a pool. Well, once Tom invites me on the boat, maybe I'll invite Tom.
Wow.
You are always welcome to come to my pool. In fact, my pool opening is the week of May 5th, which seems like it's 3 weeks away?
Yeah. That's very early. That's early.
What's going on? Now, that's what time you get it open. So,
okay. I didn't know that.
You get it open early May. By mid-May, it's warm.
I was about to say, does that have to do with water
heater.
temp?
I'm very much an advocate for heating that pool up to 88 degrees.
And that's warm. That is real. Yeah, that's like a hot tub for
This is what I do for fun. I'm a pool
great,
guy.
though. That
Tom's
sounds
a boat guy.
fantastic.
You're I don't know what you are.
I don't like to swim. I'm not a swimmer.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how to.
I'm a big swim fan. I got a pool for my kids when they were young, and
is it above or below ground?
It's a below ground. It's a fancy pants pool.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to be having some barbecues this summer.
Well, if you improve this weather, perhaps I'll invite you out to the pool.
I think you have a nice weekend, not necessarily for the pool, but I do think if you want to be out and about, at least the first half is looking okay. We had a lot of sunshine today, and I think we're going to continue to see this trend heading forward. 52 in the city of Detroit, 49 Ludington, low 50s from Chicago into Fort Wayne, and then areas south dealing with more so rain. And you notice out near New England, they have winter weather advisory, so they're dealing with the winter weather we saw yesterday. For today, though, we're dry, we're quiet. That's going to continue into tonight with mostly clear skies. Temps then dipping into the lower 30s as we head into the overnight. Mostly clear, cold evening, but we are mainly dry. 56 tomorrow for our forecasted high. It's going to be a nice day, a near seasonal day. with a mix of sun and clouds. So it is going to be another bright day. And then by Sunday, there will be a few showers to kind of factor into any plans that you have that take you outside, but it's not going to be a complete washout of a day or a soaker of a day. We're holding that off until Monday, with temps continuing to warm into the mid 60s. So although it will feel nice come Monday, we won't necessarily get to enjoy it a whole lot, just because we are going to be factoring in that chance of showers. A milder day comes Sunday, with highs approaching pretty close to 60 degrees. And then after Sunday, next chance for rain arriving late Sunday into Monday. A little bit of a break during the middle part of the week. And then by the end of next week, we'll have another system that's going to bring in our next chance of showers. And there might be some minor light mixing, but as of right now, that's going to be so at least small. I know there's that chance, but we're not going to see. I know.
Any more of that mixing of snow.
I was so hesitant to even say that, because I was just like, gosh, we are
invited to the pool.
Well, I'm never going to get to go to your pool. We have a few showers arriving late Sunday. This is by 6 o'clock dinner time. It's very widely scattered, and I think mainly focused up near our northernmost communities. That's going to continue at least through late Sunday into early Monday, and then Monday afternoon, Monday evenings when we see our second round. Tuesday, more breaks with additional showers and arriving during the afternoon. So it's kind of on and off. There will be ample dry time, but there will be shower chances here and there as well. And I think we're going to carry that over into much of next week. It's looking unsettled, but finally temperatures look to be a little bit more manageable, with most spots hanging out in the 50s.
I got a couple of daffodils now that are like their little yellow heads are there, but they have not opened because it hasn't been warm enough. And what is it? It's
April 11th.
April 11th. Come on,
I
Stephanie.
know. Well, you know what?
Come on, the poor daffodils. I mean, daffodils, we've had daffodils in the middle of March before.
Well,
this is outrageous.
This year, I don't make the weather. I just report it to you guys.
What?
I just give it to you guys. I don't make it. I'm not like Mother Nature, Rob.
I thought that's what the weather people did.
Okay, you know what? If I did, I would. My ideal forecast is your ideal forecast.
Yes,
75, sunny.
Can I take the covers off my pool? Not my pool, my patio furniture. I have like a patio.
Well, I mean, do you want to
not the pool furniture, the patio furniture where I can go sit with my wife and chit-chat and sit with my little doggy before I come to work.
As long as you don't mind it getting slightly soggy, just because there are rain chances here and there. Temps will be in the 50s. Overnight lows, though, are going to be a little cold. So I don't know if that has any impact.
Heaters, too.
Oh, okay. Well, then you might be good for that then.
Okay, I'm taking them off this weekend.
You were going to do it either way, weren't you?
No, if I had another, it was going to snow and it'd be cold and miserable all week next week, I would not do that.
Yeah.
So I will take them off this weekend.
Good.
All right?
You enjoy your weekend, Rob.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Bye.
And thank you for controlling the weather.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for clearing that up. I thought you were doing it.
Yeah, I just love tormenting people. That's what we love to do.
What do you know? All right, a big change in Michigan involving sentencing guidelines for young people who commit murder. Fox News' Amy Lang is going to join us live with more decisions, more on that decision. That's right after the break. That was a bit silly. 19 and 20-year-olds who commit first-degree murder cannot automatically be sentenced to life in prison anymore. The state Supreme Court making that ruling yesterday. Fox 2's Amy Lane joins us live now with more on that ruling. Amy, I don't know. I kind of agree with that.
Well, this really goes to science and the development of the brain. And, you know, the scientific evidence shows it's really not fully developed till the age of 25. So not only can people not really fully comprehend consequences of their action and their culpability and things of that nature, but they also are more likely to be able to be rehabilitated because those brains are still malleable, et cetera. So because of this, a number of years ago, I'm sure you remember when the United States Supreme Court said, you can't sentence these kids, these juveniles. They were called juvenile lifers. So folks, you know, under the age of 18, you can't sentence them to automatic life in prison anymore. It's cruel. It's just not okay. They're not the same as adults, right? They're children. They're juveniles. And so the science has shown really that at 19 and 20, you're pretty much the same as you were at 17 and 18 in terms of that brain development. And so the Michigan Supreme Court heard arguments on behalf of two guys who committed murder a number of years ago when they were the age of 19. And, you know, they're really different people now. And so this does not by any stretch of the imagination mean that, like, they're getting out or anything like that, but it means that they have to be now resentenced. So there will be a resentencing hearing. Now, some of these people, because, you know, you have to imagine, right? Some people, they have been in for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And so, you know, there may be agreements that, you know, this person has really been rehabilitated while in prison and they deserve a second chance. And, you know, they might agree to say time served. And all this still has to go before, like, the parole board. So there's, I don't want people to be alarmed because I know there are victims' families who are concerned. They don't want to have to necessarily relive this. But it is an opportunity for people who committed heinous crimes when they were young, who may be rehabilitated at a much older age, to be able to possibly get out there and have a second chance, maybe make a difference, help mentor others who might be on a bad path. So there are a lot of things still to come. This isn't going to happen immediately, but there are about close to 600 people who this would apply to retroactively who are in prison here in Michigan right now.
You know, I'm a real law and order guy, and I am definitely run across. I've covered homicide scenes and things like that before, and I definitely believe in justice. However, sometimes I have been in court settings where you see young people and some 18-year-old who was a knucklehead and got in the car with the wrong guys on a night where they decided to go carjack somebody and kill them, and you, as a human, you feel like really they're locking. I can see locking away that guy, the guy that pulled the trigger, but knucklehead who went along for the ride, throwing away the key. I don't know. It seems a bit harsh,
extreme.
And so I kind of agree with it. And obviously, you got to be mentored. And believe me, I'm a law and order guy, but I also believe that for second chances, especially for somebody that young, you know, you get in the car with the wrong people.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't anticipate that that's what's going to happen, you know, and so this is basically an opportunity for folks to have a chance to be heard, you know, at a resentencing and then maybe before a parole board, et cetera. But it's not any kind of guarantee that they get out. It's just the court acknowledging that they're really kids when these things are happening, and so they should be treated differently than some of the people who are quite a bit older.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Amy. And
Absolutely.
That's coming up at 5?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. All right. Thanks so much, Amy Lang.
Absolutely.
And a new decision by the courts. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a helicopter to fall apart mid-flight and plunge into the Hudson River. That and more when Fox 2 Live returns. And we're giving you a live look at the Bayview Yacht Club, where Tom likes to keep his boat. Tom, people are going to really think you're like some rich dude who hangs out at the yacht club. Tom's not really like that.
He doesn't even have a boat.
He doesn't even have a boat. He does hang out at the yacht club, but he just gets on other people's boats. Right. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live. 3 people are dead after a small plane crashes in South Florida. The crash happening just after 10 this morning in Boca Raton near the city's airport. One person on the ground was also hurt when the crash pushed his car into a tree. That person is expected to survive. The FAA says the plane was heading to Tallahassee. Early reports say the pilot encountered some kind of mechanical issues. The FAA says the Cessna aircraft went down around 10:20 this morning after departing from Boca Raton Airport, bound for Tallahassee. The crash happening near a major interstate highway in Boca Raton, pushing a car onto railroad tracks. All 3 people on board are dead. Boca Raton police said in a social media post that several roads near the Boca Raton Airport were closed near the interstate 95 after the plane went down shortly after 10. And that's a lot of information. It was a big plane crash. A helicopter tour of New York. This is a terrible story. We had this on live when it was breaking yesterday. A helicopter tour of New York City turned deadly Thursday afternoon after the chopper broke apart and fell from the sky. Dive teams are on the scene working to recover the wreckage. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy has more from Jersey City.
Investigators are back at the scene of a deadly helicopter crash in the Hudson River that left 6 people dead, the pilot and a family of Spanish tourists. We will warn you, the video you're about to see is disturbing. It shows the helicopter plummeting into the water without the tail or main rotor. Authorities are now working to find out why.
The recovery of the wreckage and then the piecing back together of those component parts will really give them some good understanding as to whether or not there was a mechanical malfunction or failure.
According to the Associated Press, the victims include Siemens executive Agustin Escobar, his wife Marseille, and their 3 young children. The flight path shows their helicopter took off from downtown Manhattan Thursday afternoon. It traveled north before turning around just past the George Washington Bridge and then crashed while traveling south on its way back.
Just the velocity that it smashed into the water, I was not feeling confident that people were going to be able to survive that.
Witnesses say the chopper appeared to break apart in midair before landing upside down. Last night, investigators used a crane on a boat to remove the fuselage. Dive teams are back in the water today looking for more parts.
When you see something like this, you always believe it's surreal. We have to, partner with our federal, state, and city agencies to determine what happened and do everything possible to prevent it from happening again.
The NTSB is leading this investigation with support from the FAA as well as state and local authorities. In Jersey City, Nate Foy, Fox News.
China just announced it's raising tariffs on U.S. goods from 84% to 124% starting tomorrow. We're going to talk about that and more tonight on The Pulse. Let's bring in the man himself, Roop Raj. Oh, Roop doesn't like a big intro. I was going to do the Roop Raj fighting in this corner.
Listen, I have a little bit of 16 years of working with you, a little PTSD. If I hear you get riled up, I think I'm in trouble. Because I hear Hall of Shame in your voice. Yeah, That's all I hear. I don't hear any excitement.
No, Roop, you're the man. And all right, what's going on with these tariffs now? I mean, I told you yesterday I got to buy a new phone. I kid you not, I have an iPhone 8.
8?
An iPhone 8.
Wow.
Because I have been avoiding for years going and buying a new phone. I'm not a big phone guy.
The iPhone 8 is similar to a flip phone. It just doesn't flip, right? It's basically the same thing.
It's definitely a very outdated phone. It still works fine.
But for your purposes, it works just fine.
Yeah, it works fine. And I have a work phone that's like an iPhone 13 or something.
No, Fox 2 gave us some good work.
Yeah, but yes, my personal phone is an iPhone 8. I need to get a new phone. I've been wanting to for years.
Yeah.
Now I'm really scared because I'm afraid I'm going to go to the iPhone store and pay $4,000 for a phone.
You're going to pay a lot of money. Here's the thing, though. If you want to buy, kind of like the cars, if you want to go buy that iPhone, you should do it like this weekend. No joke. Here's why. The stock that they already have on the shelves is what you want to grab. It's at least you upgrade to an iPhone 9 or 10 or something, right? I mean, you don't need to get a 17, 16.
I will take over my wife's phone. She has like an iPhone 13, and then she'll get a 16. I don't know, but I just
now
don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a phone.
You can put your email on phones now, you know.
What? What is email? What is that? Is that something new?
There's no dial-up. There's no dial-up
I'm 66
noise.
years old, man. Come on. What is this
There's no
crazy?
AOL dial-up noise when you actually load up your email. But I'll tell you what. The reason that you're talking about this,
I got my Prodigy going at home.
I know you do. But the reason that this is important is because anything assembled in China or made in that country right now is going to cost a heck of a lot more very soon. We're talking about 100. Okay, so you talked about China's tariffs on the U.S. Talk about the U.S.'s tariffs on China, upwards of 140%. He just keeps going up and up, the president does. And Xi out in China says, hey, you know what? We're going to fight this till the end. Think about what that means. China is a proud and a stubborn country. The leaders there are. And they're telling this president, I don't care how high the tariffs go. We're going to keep on jacking up our tariffs, too. And so this trade war is no longer just with, U.S. versus the world. That's what it would seem like for a little while. And then, of course, as you know, 2 days ago, the rollback on the tariffs, which are the reciprocal tariffs. And we got to kind of, I say we should split this into 3 categories. Can we do that real quickly?
Sure.
Reciprocal tariffs. Reciprocal means what you do to me, I do to you, or if not worse, right?
Gotcha.
So they're kind of retaliatory. So those tariffs are paused against 75 countries. So they're in talks with a lot of those countries. Many of them come to the table. Hey, let's work out a deal. Then you have the 10% baseline tariffs. That's just like, hey, that's what we got going on right now. That's our always policy right now, 10% tariff. Then there's the 25% tariff. That's on the autos, the cars and the car parts. That's what affects us here in Detroit. That hasn't changed. So the only thing that's changed are 75 countries that are saying we'll come to the table, so we'll pause the tariffs for about 3 months. Keep that in mind. But that iPhone will cost upwards of $2,400, if not more, a new one. Right now, they average somewhere in the $1,400, $1,500 range. So it's about $1,000 more because of that increased tariff in China.
That iPhone 8 better last me a long time because I ain't paying $2,500
You have it here?
For a phone. I don't keep it. I don't keep it with me when I'm
I don't think you need more than an iPhone 8. If you don't have your phone with you while you're angry, you don't need.
I'm not a big phone guy.
No, I understand.
And yes, the iPhone 8 works fine. I got the Ticketmaster app, so I can get into the Pistons games. I got all that. I can text Roop Raj late at night when I'm watching the Pulse, which I do sometimes. I'll be like, Roop, you're killing it tonight. You're the man. Whatever.
I like your text.
Or if I disagree with you, Roop, you're totally wrong, man. I don't think I've ever done that.
You haven't done that. You disagree with some of the things that you see on.
I am in great admiration of you and that show. I think you're really, really good on that show. And you know me, I've given you a lot of grief over the years. I pick on you sometimes.
When this guy,
I think you're the man.
Thank you, my man.
Especially with that
it means
show.
a lot from you. You're a veteran, and that means a lot. I want a veteran of the news business. I want to tell you one thing, though, really important. The U.S. Supreme Court involved with halting this reinstatement of fired workers. There was a judge in San Francisco. I want to tell you about this real quickly. Okay. And that judge said, hey, President Trump, all these probationary workers that you want to get rid of, you know what? You can't fire them right now. You can't do it. And that San Francisco federal judge says, don't do it. You can't do it. We're going to put a halt to it. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court today, remember, they have a 6-3 conservative majority. So 6 conservatives on that bench. They basically voted and said that San Francisco judge is wrong. And the president does at this point have a right to fire those workers, and now it's going to be held up again. And at least they'll have to have a little leeway, a little bit of time. But right now, at this point, the U.S. Supreme Court blocked that judge's order for President Trump's administration to rehire thousands of those workers. That's what was the plan. You got to rehire them. That San Francisco judge said, and now the Supreme Court said, no, you don't need to do that. So the Supreme Court essentially is siding with the president. On not just one occasion, but 2 occasions now that we've seen in the last week. So interesting stuff we'll be talking about on the Pulse tonight with Dave Dulio, political science professor at Oakland University. And we also have two women who are coming on, one a Republican, one a Democrat, both state lawmakers, talking about Gretchen Whitmer and the White House. Was it a good move for her to be there? Some people say she should have left the White House as soon as she realized it was a news conference. She should have just said, I need to see my way out. Others say that's unreasonable. She was there to fight for Selfridge, and that's what she did. And so it's an interesting conversation that will continue on the Pulse tonight.
Yeah, a lot of one thing you got to say, Trump is always in the news, and politics are always big news when Trump is the president. It's It is, I believe he likes to create chaos so that people are constantly talking about him, and he is definitely doing that.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's two levels of this. There's the chaos part that you're talking about, and no doubt there's been a lot of news and a lot of bluster and a lot of, big announcements coming out of the White House that has created some chaos. I will say, though, that some people say that they wish that the other administration before this had a little more access to the media, because there was months that went by where we didn't see President Biden. And so there was a criticism of that. So what he's doing, everything this president is doing is to kind of blow back against, he keeps referencing Biden. Biden's been gone for months. Yeah. And a lot of people are saying, just let him retire. It's fine, but he's always comparing himself. And the other day he was saying, I've done more news conferences than Biden did in his entire 4 years in the first 60 days. And so there's access to this president. But as you say, there's a lot of news that affects so many of us. And we want to keep our hand on the pulse of that and make sure that policies aren't hurting people. And if they are, what's being done about it, we're checking that out every night.
Yeah. I would like a president kind of in the middle, a little less laid back than Biden, a little less crazy like Trump, and somebody right in the middle where you could maybe work a couple of days without hearing about what's the latest tariff news or tax news or immigration news. But
I care about I told you this yesterday. I'm a son of the auto industry. My dad and mom moved to Michigan because of the auto industry. And I just think about those workers, and I think about engineers and talent that's in this place, in this great state of Michigan. And you really hope and wish that everyone keeps their jobs and that the tariffs don't hurt dealers and others as much. So let's just keep our fingers crossed about that with those 25% tariffs on autos.
All right, Rubraj, The Pulse, it's on tonight and every night, Monday through Friday at 11:30. It's a really good show. If you haven't seen it, it's really good, and Roop is very good at it, and I'm not lying. He's the man at it,
that means a lot
it's
from you.
right down the middle as far as I could see with the politics stuff. It's pretty good. So that's tonight. Thank you, Roop.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Rob.
All right, we got a little bit of weather. Here comes Derek Cavra. Tell us about the weekend, Derek.
Hello, everybody. Things are going to start getting better around here, which is nice after dealing with some pretty chilly conditions over the course of the last week. We're finally beginning to warm up just a little bit, and we're going to continue to build on this trend. Now, yes, there will be a few dips before or as we continue to make that climb, but the important part is we are making the climb. Let's talk about temperatures over the next 10 days. The average about 57 degrees this time of the year. We are expecting to climb nearer that as we head into the weekend. You see Saturday and Sunday right there in the mid-50s. Early next week, we've got 65 degrees. Yes, there's a dip on Tuesday, but then the overall trend after that is going to be continuing to track up and up and up. We'll start with a live look out here at Indian River off to the north, where they still have some snow on the ground after a very wintry week in northern Michigan over the last 7 to 10 days, including a historic ice storm. Things are starting to improve a bit weather-wise up there as they improve weather-wise down here. So satellite radar, interesting little note here. Let me zoom the map out. I want to show you where the really heavy and thick cloud cover is, because right here, extending through parts of Ontario, through Ohio and Indiana, you've got real thick cloud cover right in this area, and then clearer skies over top of us. So we at this moment are clear, and we are anticipating that we will stay clear, but there is a chance that some of those clouds could get, over the course of the weekend, pretty close to areas in St. Clair County, maybe into areas around Port Huron, Windsor perhaps. Even downtown Detroit may experience some of that cloud creep as it moves a bit farther to the west. So if that happens, we might transition a little bit cloudier, but overall, I think for today and for Saturday, we're going to be more on the sunny side. Now, Sunday comes with a chance for some spotty rain showers as you take a look at a few different waves. This is not like wash out your weekend kind of weather, but it is going to be a few passing rain showers as we head through the weekend. Here's your temperatures outside, numbers that range from about 45 to 50. We will likely get up to that 50-degree threshold, at least briefly, over the next couple of hours, and then we start to cool off as we head overnight. It's expected to get a little chilly out there tonight. 51 degrees, clouds decrease, sunshine, beautiful looking day out there today, 32. That's our overnight low, so that does hover right near freezing. Let's check our 7-day forecast with those temperatures getting better, but there is some rain to discuss. You'll see some rain showers Sunday, another chance on Monday, Tuesday. Some flakes could be mixing in. Tuesday, the coldest day before we start warming right back up once again.
All right, early signs that President Trump's trade policies could be helping the U.S. furniture industry with a 145% tariff on China now in place. Some American manufacturers are saying they're already seeing some benefits. Fox's Chelsea Torres is live in High Point, North Carolina. Chelsea, what are businesses saying?
Sure, Rob. Well, I'm in a part of North Carolina that was once known as the furniture capital of the world. That's until people here say that China sapped demand for U.S.-made products. But now local manufacturers are hoping that the tariffs will turn things back around.
It takes true craftsmanship, a lot of nails, and quality fabric for well-made furniture.
There's still people that have to make it, have to upholster it, have to staple it, have to assemble it.
Vision Contract Manufacturing says they're expecting more business because of the tariffs on China. Now, they're even adding more jobs.
Within the last 2 weeks, we've hired 10 people. We are probably going to grow 25 to 30% over the next 2 or 3 months. And with the tariffs, it's bringing the interest in people trying to bring it back. It's been over the top.
Some companies like iHoltz began their move to U.S. production before the tariffs.
People really like the fact that something is made in the U.S.
They say reducing imports and making pieces like their Dutch brand here in America is helping them save money and time.
But if you really look into all the details that are involved, like lead times, we have to ship it. It usually takes you 4 to 5 months to get it here. Production till having it in your warehouse. Now it's a 4 to 6 weeks deal.
Just over an hour away is Carolina Custom Leather. Most of their furniture is made in the U.S., but they need to get their leather from places like Brazil and Italy, where a 10% baseline tariff on imports is still in place.
We buy leather, like we buy nails from Germany, mechanisms from different areas, and some of them have gone up and down already within 2 weeks.
He says they're figuring it out as they go, but believes tariffs will help bring the focus back to American-made brands.
And the world's largest trade show, furniture trade show, will be kicking off right here in High Point in the next few weeks. And Rob, trade show organizers are already telling me that they're expecting lower attendance from international buyers, and that's because of the tariffs. Rob?
Yeah, those furniture makers that have companies that are already here in America, looks like they lucked out. But, I mean, I would imagine it takes a long time to build a furniture factory or anything like that. So I guess that's the idea is we're going to bring manufacturing back to U.S., but these guys lucked out by having those furniture places already.
Oh, absolutely. And as we know, manufacturing, to build one, it takes time, it takes years. And again, I mean, at least for the people here, they really held on. They started their manufacturing business, and it's really lucking out for them. So I guess we'll see what ends up happening, because as you and I both know, things keep changing every single day.
Yeah, they make nice furniture out there in North Carolina. Thank you, Chelsea. At what point do you start panicking when your phone battery starts running low? According to a study by Talker Research that surveyed 2,000 Americans, the average panic percentage for cell phone usage is 38%. And 34% of people get concerned when their battery dips below 20%. Tom, I got an iPhone 8. I told you, I got the iPhone 8 and...
How long does that battery last?
I don't know. The phone still works. I'm not in any hurry to go spend $2,500 on a new one. Lee's Pick of the Week is coming up, a documentary about surveillance in schools. We'll tell you why our critic, Lee Thomas, says it's his Pick of the Week. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. ready. A new docuseries focuses on a real-life spying scandal involving free laptops and school-age children. Spy High is Lee Thomas's pick of the week. Hit it, Tom.
I'm hitting it.
Come on.
Time to talk about my pick of the week. Hi, movie critic Lee Thomas. And I have a twofer for you, really, because there's a movie called Warfare, and it is one of the best war movies that I have seen in a while. And it is told from the perspective of the guys that were actually there in a very real-time, moment-to-moment way. The director of the movie, his name is Ray Mendoza. He was actually a Navy SEAL. That this incident was there when this incident happened. He's the director of the movie. He's portrayed in the movie. Warfare is that film that's in theaters. But let's talk about something you can watch at home, and it's a 4-part documentary called Spy High, produced by Mark Wahlberg's production company. This is about an incident that happened in 2009, where a high school administration gave all the kids brand new Apple computers. But what the kids did not know is that the administration was using them and using their camera on the computer to not only spy on them or watch them while they were in school, but they were also watching them while they were at home. And they found out because they called one young man to the office, and they said he was selling drugs, and they had evidence and pictures that could prove it. And those pictures were from his bedroom. Everything spiraled out of control, and a giant lawsuit came from it. But the way the story plays out is amazing. And it lets you know when you have something issued, a computer issued to you from your job or from your school, are they watching everything you do on that computer? It's called Spy High, and it's on Amazon Prime right now. 4-part documentary series. I saw the first 2 parts, and I was all in the whole time. Spy High, Amazon Prime Video, is my pick of the week. So do what you do, my people. That's it for Critic Lee Thomas, Fox 2 News.
I got to tell you right now, Tom, that looks like a good show. That's outrageous that they were spying on the kids like that. The kids think they got a free computer. Yeah. Man, oh man. A lot going on in Metro Detroit this weekend. Soul legends, the Isley Brothers, are taking the stage tomorrow at the Fox Theater. The show features special guests after 7 and Angela Winbush. Tickets start at $80. Isley Brothers are great. The Detroit Zoo holding an annual Green Fest this weekend. Features food and trucks, live music, hands-on exhibits, shopping, and more. You can also win prizes or free zoo tickets. Bring electronics to the zoo's parking lot on 10 Mile. Things like phones, TVs, computers, tablets. If you bring enough, I got you. If you bring enough to fill a bucket, it's worth a ticket or even 2. Otherwise, it's just good to get rid of that clutter in an environmentally responsible way. The e-cycling runs from 9 a.m. to noon, so I guess this is it was a sneaky way of letting you know, bring used electronic equipment, and you can get rid of them the right way and get into the zoo for free. Right, Tom?
Right.
The Michigan Science Center is hosting a free community day tomorrow. The event is sponsored by Exalta Coating Systems of Mount Clemens. Special programming will focus on transportation fun as Exalta features its 2025 Global Automotive Color of the Year Evergreen Sprint. What the heck? The free day runs from 10 until 4. If you like to laugh, who doesn't? Cat Williams will be at Little Caesars Arena tomorrow on his Heaven on Earth tour. His latest special was the No Holds Barred Woke Folk, which dropped on Netflix last year. The show starts at 8. Tickets start at $65. If you like to laugh, who doesn't like to laugh? You know, it's like saying if you like fun.
If you like to breathe.
If you like fun, watch Fox 2 Local Friday at 4 o'clock with Rob, because it's lots of fun. That's all for Fox 2 Detroit Live at 4. Fox 2 News at 5 is next. Have a great day. Have a great week.